Sorry guys, I think I was mute. Yeah, now am I audible guys to all of you? Good afternoon. Okay, thanks for the confirmation guys. I hope you are doing well and good, and your learning is also going good. Okay, thank you. Just let me know if you can see my screen, if you can see me, if you can hear me guys. If anything issue you face, definitely just let me know. I'll try to fix that. Okay. Uh, so I think I'm taking the first class, okay, in this particular batch. So maybe Sudhanshu sir already talked about regarding today's agenda. Do you know, guys? So today, what we are gonna cover? Anyone? Okay, so Deepak is telling end-to-end projects with deployment, building projects. Yeah, you are right. So today, actually, we'll try to complete one project, okay, uh, called e-commerce recommender system. I'll give you the entire, let's say, implementation overview, like how we can implement these kinds of projects, okay, as an end-to-end. Even I will also show you the deployment part, okay, how it can be deployed. Yes, recommender system. Yeah, recommendation system we'll try to develop today. And by today itself, I'll try to cover the entire projects. Okay, so there is no time limit for today's class. So it might go beyond, let's say, 1 hour, 2 hours. Okay, so once the project is implemented, once we have deployed, once we have completed everything, we'll try to end the session. So maybe you don't have any work, guys, because today is Sunday and you are free. So maybe you can sit with me and complete the entire project, right? And I'm not going to write the code from scratch because I think you are already familiar with Python programming. You know how to write the code. Okay, I created the entire template. So I'll try to explain the code line by line so that you can understand. Okay, otherwise, if I start writing line by line, so it will take lots of time. Okay, even it will also waste your time. So I have implemented this project in such a way so that everyone can understand. Okay, it's a very simple coding I have done. Hello, Bapi sir. I got 1 year free access to Euron Plus when it was started, but now it is asking to upgrade to Euron Plus. What to do now? Maybe you can contact with the team. Okay, I'm not sure about it. Okay, maybe they have done some like changes in the website. Because of that, maybe there would be some issue. All right. So let's start, guys. Maybe we can start the implementation. Uh, if you guys ready, just please give me a thumbs up in the chat. If you ready, guys, can I start with the class? Modular approach, you will also able to understand, Deepak, if you are familiar with object-oriented programming. So here, guys, I'm expecting you are familiar with OP. Okay, OP in Python. Are you familiar with OP? Object-oriented programming in Python. I think you are familiar with class concept, right? Class methods, inheritance, abstraction, polymorphism, right? So yeah, if you are familiar with, definitely will be able to understand. Yeah, definitely, Sam. Okay. I'll first of all give you the entire project idea. We'll try to develop the entire projects on the Jupyter notebook step by step because I know that you guys are familiar with Jupyter notebook implementation. Then I will show you how we can convert that project to the modular coding. Okay. Hmm. All right. So first of all, let's try to discuss about the recommender system. Okay. What is recommender system exactly? Recommender system. So maybe you already know what is recommender system, guys, right? Let's say if I'm talking about anything, let's say Netflix. Okay, Netflix also use something called recommender system. So what happens? Let's say you are searching for one movies here. Let's say Three Idiots. Okay, so I mean, you will be getting some suggestion. Okay, similar kinds of movie like Three Idiots. So it's a recommender system. Then YouTube also use recommender system. Okay, YouTube also use recommender system. Then Amazon also use recommender system. Okay, so nowadays actually all the, let's say, e-commerce site, or let's say book e-commerce site, so anywhere if you see, people are using a recommender system there. Let's say if I'm talking about O'Reilly. Do you know, guys, what is O'Reilly exactly? O'Reilly is a uh, e-commerce book, let's say, website, right? So there you can purchase different books. Maybe I can show you O'Reilly. Yeah, famous book website, you can see. Okay, even they have the recommended system as well. Okay, so you can consider any kinds of website, whether it's a Amazon, whether it's a Netflix, whether it's a Worley, whether it's any kinds of, let's say, fashion related website. Okay, let's say cosmetics, cloth, shoes. Okay, anything you can consider. Okay, so here my main intention is to show you how we can build this kinds of recommender system with the help of machine learning. Okay, and you can pick up any kinds of, let's say, data, whether it's a let's say cloth data, whether it's a shoes data, whether it's a cosmetics data, okay, whether it's a books data, whether it's a, let's say, movie data, any kinds of data you can pick up and you can build this kinds of recommender system. Okay, now recommender system having three kinds of type. Okay, so the first type called content based recommender system. Content based recommender system. Okay, the second one we call it as collaborative filtering, and the third one is hybrid. Okay, now what is content based recommender system? Content based recommender system means, like, let's say, it will recommend the, okay, it will recommend the product based on the content. Let's say you are searching for one movies. Let's say you are searching for let's say what I can do, let's say you are searching for, let's say, Three Idiots. So what is the genre of the Three Idiots, guys? Can anybody tell me what is the genres of the Three Idiots movie genres? Movie genres or actor. Okay, I'm talking about. So movie genres I can consider of the Three Idiots. It's a entertaining, right? Enter Entertaining. Comedy, yeah, you can also consider as comedy. Okay, emotional comedy like that. And actors, let's say Amir Khan. Okay, then we have Karina Kapoor, right? So this kinds of, actually, let's say, information we have in the content. Okay, now let's say whenever you have searched these particular movies, let's say Three Idiots, so it will try to match your genres, or let's say movie content. Based on that, it will give you the recommendation. Let's say you have searched for Three Idiots. Okay, you have searched for Three Idiots, and the actors was Amir Khan. It was comedy. Okay, now can anybody tell me another movie similar to Three Idiots? Another movie which is, let's say, having comedy, entertaining, actors is also Amir Khan. PK, right? I can consider PK. So this particular PK, I can get the recommendation, okay, from the Netflix itself. So this is called actually content-based recommender system. So it will try to match the content. Based on that, it will try to give you the recommendation. Okay. Yeah. Now let's come to the second one called collaborative filtering. Okay. What is collaborative filtering exactly? Collaborative filtering means, let's say here, they will be more focusing on the user side. Let's say this is user one. Okay. And this is user two. Let's say user one has searched for Three Idiot. Okay. Three Idiot, like that. Okay. And after watching this 3D, let's say they have given some ratings. Let's say they have given 8.5, like that. Okay, 8.5. Then there is another user who has also watched 3D. Okay, and he has also given some rating, let's say 8.9, like that. Now, can you see some similarity between user 1 and user 2? Yes or no? How I can get, like, let's say user 1 and user 2 is having same interest? How, guys? Okay, based on the rating, you can see this rating is telling me they have similar kinds of interest. Okay, so what I can do, let's say, yeah, what I can do, let's say next time whenever user 1 is searching anything, let's say user 1 is searching, let's say, what I can do, let's say, what, let's say Sikandar. Okay, so I can give the same recommendation to the user 2 as well. Okay, because I got to know user 1 and user 2 is having same interest. So whatever user 1 is searching, I can also recommend to the user 2. Okay, so here basically we make a cluster. Have you heard of clustering, guys, in machine learning? Have you learned clustering technique? We have k-means clustering, we have DB scan, right? Yeah. So in clustering, what happens? Let's say we have different categories of people. Okay, we have different categories of people. We just try to make a cluster like that. Okay. Yeah. Now, next time, whenever any new data is coming, like that, we just try to calculate the distance. Okay. We just try to calculate the distance, and we just try to see whichever cluster is having less distance, I can consider this particular new data is belongs to this particular category. Maybe you have already learned this thing, right? Are you getting my point, right? Okay, guys, let me know. Now I think you can understand about the collaborative filtering. Okay, what is collaborative filtering exactly? That means we're trying to collaborate with another user to give the recommendation. And how it works based on the clustering technique. Okay, so the project we're going to develop today will be using collaborative filtering technique. Okay, because content based, I feel like it's a very easy. So here you just need to recommend the product based on the content. Okay, so those who are familiar with NLP technique, maybe they can do, because at the end we have to convert all the textual data to the numerical representation, that means to the vector representation. Then after that we can do some, let's say, similarity measurement. Based on that we can recommend a product. But interest will uh, I mean you'll be getting more interest whenever you will be implementing this collaborative based filtering, because here we'll be working with different user, let's say, test. Okay, and nowadays like most of the let's say system are using collaborative filtering. I cannot say collaborative filtering, they're also using some other advanced technique as well, because the GNAI also came, and you know that LLM is having like superpower nowadays. Okay, with the help of that they're implementing some strong model, strong architecture. Based on that they're doing the recommendation. But how this idea came? Okay, so how people are used to create these kinds of system, so they used to follow these kinds of type. Will we use any ML algorithm in the, yes, we'll be using machine learning algorithm. Okay, machine learning algorithm for the recommender system. We'll be using one clustering model called nearest neighbor. Have you heard of, guys, nearest neighbor? This is a clustering model. We have k-means clustering, DB scan, nearest neighbor. Okay, these kinds of model we have. No, not k nearest neighbor. It's a nearest neighbor. K nearest neighbor is a classification or regression algorithm. But nearest neighbor is a, let me show you, nearest neighbor algorithm. So nearest neighbor algorithm, particularly k nearest neighbors algorithm is simple, powerful. Okay, not this one. Nearest neighbor, I think this one. It's a unsupervised, okay, unsupervised algorithm, and you know that unsupervised means it's a clustering algorithm, right? Unsupervised nearest neighbor. Got it? And it is available in the sklearn library. You can also use dbscan. Then you can also use something called k-means clustering. You can replace anything. Okay, it's up to you. This we didn't know. Now I think you got to know nearest neighbor is also ML algorithm. Okay. Fine. And to implement the entire project, guys, we'll be using one e-commerce book dataset. Okay. Now let me show you the dataset. So this data is available in the Kaggle website. I'm also sharing the link in the chat, so you can download the data, guys. Can you access? Let me know this link. Just open it up. You can see it is having 3 files. Okay, book rating.csv, books csv, and user.csv. Okay, so these 3 csv file you have to download. Just click here. It will download the zip file, and after that we'll try to load the data and we'll do the all the steps. Okay, one by one. Not clickable. Maybe you can copy and you can paste on the Google Chrome, Pradeep. Otherwise, I will also share the zip file with you. I have the zip file. I already downloaded it. Okay, I can't share the zip file here. Why? Okay, zip file I'm not able to upload, guys. So maybe what I can do, I can make a GitHub repo. Okay, there I will try to commit all the data. Okay, that would be fine. So as of now, just try to copy the link and paste over the Google Chrome, and you can see the data. Okay. Otherwise, you can also search book dataset Kaggle. You will also see this particular data. Okay, and make sure you have this 3 file. Have to log in. Yes, definitely you have to log in if you want to download. Just try to create an account with your Gmail and you can download the data. Okay. And again, I'm telling you guys, data is not the main thing here. You can use any kinds of data. You can use, let's say, cosmetics data. You can use any, let's say, clothing data, shoes data. Okay, any kinds of e-commerce data you can use to make this kinds of recommender system. Okay, and then you have to collect some product data. Okay, that's it. So here, let's say we are developing this particular O'Reilly system. Okay, O'Reilly is also a platform. Okay, book e-commerce book platform. Here also we get the same recommendation system. Let's say if I'm searching for any books, okay, it will suggest me the similar kinds of books. Okay, so we are implementing the O'Reilly recommender system. As of now, we can consider. Okay, so Deepak is telling data downloaded, sir. Great. Now, what we'll do, we'll just try to make a folder here, or I can create a GitHub repo. That would be fine. So I'll go to my GitHub. Let's create a new repository here. I'm going to name it as book recommender system, or let's say recommender system, book recommender system. Yeah. So now what I will do, here you can also write end-to-end book recommender system. Now let's make it as public repository. Then I will add the README file. Git ignore wise, I'll be taking Python because we'll be using Python programming. And license wise, you can take any license. I'll take the MIT license. Sam is asking, I just have one question. Let's say I have huge sensor data and I want to know what device will be power off due to some issue in the advisable to recommend system. Here, find which device will be dead or stop working after certain time. I didn't get the problem statement properly. Okay, so now let's create the repository. Yes, you can also create the GitHub repo if you want. Okay, if you want, you can create. Or else I will suggest, see, try to watch the entire implementation as of now. Later on, by referring the recording, you can implement. Okay, that would be fine, guys. I will share my repository as of now with you. If you want, you can clone my repo and you can execute at least in your system. Okay, just to test. And implementation wise, first of all, try to see the implementation, how I'm doing it. Then later on, you can do by seeing the recording. So this is the GitHub URL of my project. All right. So now the first thing, we have to clone this repository. How to clone? Just click on the code, copy the link address. Make sure you are selecting HTTPS. Okay. Now open your folder and open up your terminal. Okay. And here what you can do, just write git clone and paste the link. Okay. And if you press enter, it will clone the repo. Okay, it's done. Now I'll go inside that CD end-to-end book recommender system. That means now I'm inside this particular folder. Now here what I will do, I'll just try to open up my Visual Code Studio. Okay, how to open the Visual Code Studio? You can open from here. Okay, just right click, show more, and open with code. Okay, make sure you have the Visual Code Studio, guys. Do you have the Visual Code Studio, guys, in your system? Let me know. If you don't have, you can download it from Google. Okay, so you already have it. I think that is great. All right. So here, the first thing, what we have to do, we have to set up the environment. Okay. So that means we have to install some library here. And how to install and what are the command you have to execute? Let me show you. So here I can give the steps. See, these are the steps. First of all, you can clone my repository. Let me give the link. Yeah, copy this link. Okay, you can clone the repository. Then you have to create the Conda environment. Okay, we'll be creating a virtual environment with Python 3.7.10. Okay, now you can ask me why 3.7.10, because this project I had implemented, that time I used 3.7.10, and this particular version is a stable version in Python. Okay, so most of the package will work fine. You'll not get any kinds of error. That's why we'll be using this 3.7.10. Then after that, we have to activate the environment. Then we'll be installing the requirements. Okay, one by one. Got it? Yeah. So here, let's create the environment first of all. So for me, maybe I already have the environment. Let me check. So I'll just write conda env list. So previously I already created. See, this books environment is available. Okay, for me. But for you, we have to create it. How to create? Just copy this command. Okay, I'll also publish on my GitHub. So from there you can copy and you can execute. Okay, in your system. So let me publish it. I think that would be fine. So what I can do, I can just write git add space dot git commit -m readme updated git push origin main. Now if I go back and if I refresh, so you can see this readme file is updated now. Now from here you can easily copy and execute in your terminal. Yeah, 3.7 is too old version definitely, but it's a stable version, Pradeep. Okay. So all the, let's say, Python package you have, everything supports this 3.7. Because I always prefer to use the older version instead of using the latest version, because in latest version what happens, some of the library or will be, let's say, unstable here. You'll be getting different package error, because we know that if any software is coming as new, so definitely there would be some bugs. Okay, so that's why I always try to use the older version instead of using the latest version. Again, it's a choice of a developer. So let's say this is my choice. Again, other developer will prefer any other version. So it's a like choice to individual. Okay. Cannot install Conda in my laptop. See, you have to install somehow because Conda is required. Anaconda. Okay, Anaconda. So there is a software called Anaconda. You have to install this software. So there is a download button. You can download and install it. Okay. So for me, I already have the environment. I'll try to activate it. I'll just try to copy the command. And here, let's execute. So see, books environment is already activated for me. Now the next thing, I have to install some requirements. So let's create a file here. I'm going to name it as requirements.txt. Okay. Now here, the first thing you have to install scikit-learn library. So scikit-learn. Then you need pandas. Then pandas. Then NumPy is also required. NumPy, yeah. So these are the library. As of now, we'll try to install. Now what we'll do, we'll try to open up our terminal, and this is the command: pip install -r requirement.txt. So it will install all the library one by one. See, for me it is already satisfied, okay, because previously I already installed in this environment. But for you, it will take some time. Okay, so let me again commit the changes. So requirements added. Okay, now if you go to the GitHub, refresh, you'll see that requirements is updated. Okay, from here you can get it. Now guys, the next thing, we'll try to create a folder here. I'll name it as notebook. Okay, you can also create environment without conda using below. Yes, you can do, but try to use the Anaconda, guys. Okay, because Anaconda supports all the library. Okay, so you won't be getting any kinds of error during installation instead of using the Python environment, Python virtual environment. So in the notebooks, we'll try to create a file. I'm going to name it as trials or research. .ipynd. So first of all, we'll try to develop the entire project in the Jupyter notebook. Then I will show you the modular approach. Okay, how we can convert this project as a modular coding. So this approach I usually prefer whenever I implement any kinds of project. First of all, I try to implement the entire project in the Jupyter notebook. I try to test, I try to experiment. If everything works fine, then I try to convert that project to the modular coding. Okay. And you have to also do the same thing. So here, select your environment. Click on select kernel and Python environment. And this is my environment. Okay, books. You can see if you are not getting, just try to refresh and select the environment. Now let me test. I'll just write a print statement. Print okay. So it should work. Now see, okay message is giving. Okay, that means my environment is set. Now I can start the coding here. But before that, I have to move the data. Okay, in this particular folder. So where is my data? I think I already showed you the data. Okay, I already shared it the link. So this is the zip file. We'll copy in this notebook folder. And let me unzip. I'll keep the data here, and then rest of the folder I'll try to remove. Okay, now if I show you, see your data will look like that. Okay, in the notebook folder, I have the notebook file and the data. Okay, now let me push the changes so that you can also get it. So notebook and data added. Okay, done. Now if I get back, refresh. So here you can see in the notebook folder, I have everything. Now maybe you can clone my repository and you can get all the data, notebook, everything. Okay, otherwise you can also download as a zip file. Okay, so now the next thing, what we'll do, we'll try to start the experiment. Okay. Hmm. So here, first of all, let's import some library. Maybe I can add also the data link so that you can get the reference later on. So first of all, I will import pandas as PD. Then I'm going to import NumPy as NP. Why pandas? Because you know that if I want to load any CSV file, okay, any JSON file or any other, let's say data file, I can use this pandas library for that. Okay, and NumPy for the number manipulation. So first of all, here we have three you can see CSV file. We have book ratings, we have books, we have user. Okay, books user. So first of all, we'll try to load this books.csv, because in the books.csv you will see that it is having the book ISBN number, book title, book author, year of publication. Okay, then book image URL. So everything it has. So how we can load? So for this we can use pandas. This line of code you can see. So here this data is available in the notebook folder, so I don't need to give this particular data. Okay. So you can see I'm doing pd.read CSV. Inside that, I'm passing my CSV name bxbooks.csv. Separator, I'm giving semicolon because if you open this particular data, you will see that this data is separated, okay, with the help of semicolon. That's why we are giving separator is equal to semicolon. And error bad lines is equal to false, because if you ignore it, let's say if I ignore this two line, okay, and if I try to load the data, it will give me one error. It is telling UFT can coded cannot decode byte, okay, in position, blah blah blah. Okay, this particular error it is giving. Why this particular error is coming? I think you know that in CSV file, sometimes there is a possibility there would be some, let's say, let's say, problem in the row. Okay, some of the, let's say, row won't be opening. Some of the row will have some problem. Okay, and the data should be also coded in Latin 1. Okay, it should be also encoded in Latin 1. But this data is not encoded in Latin 1. That's why it is giving you this kinds of error. If you want to prevent this error, you have to use this particular line. Error bad lines is equal to false and encoding is equal to Latin 1. Now, if I execute, you'll see that whatever line is having bad line, okay, whatever rows is having bad line, it will try to skip that particular rows. Let's say this particular rows has been skipped, this particular rows has been skipped, okay, and the data is also converted to the Latin 1. Latin 1 is a, let's say, encoding format. Okay, it's encoding format. I think you know that your computer is having different encoding form, right? Whenever it reads any kinds of data. So Latin 1 is one of them. And most of the data we use in a Latin 1 format. You can search on Google what is Latin 1, you will get more idea about it. Okay. Now my data has loaded successfully. Now if I show you my book dot head, okay, now you'll see that this is the data. Perfectly have loaded. There is no issue. Now you can see ISBN number. So every book has some ISBN number, okay, unique ISBN number. Book title. So this is the book title. This is the book author, year of publication, publisher, okay, and the image URL of the book. Okay, so it is having three URL. Image URL S means this is the small, okay, small size image. M means this is the medium size image. UFT8, don't use UFT8, okay, try to use Latin 1 if you are working with CSV data, okay. And image URL L means this is the large URL, okay, large URL like that. Got it? So let me show you what I'm trying to say. Let's say this is my CSV file. It is having different URL. So let's say if I zoom out, it is having three URL, you can see. So let's see if I copy the last one. This is the large URL, large image URL. So this is the book cover page URL. So see, this is the cover page URL. Okay. And it is also having the smallest one. The smallest one. This is the medium one, I think. Medium size poster. See, this is the medium size poster. And the first one is the small size poster. See, this is the small size poster, this is the medium size, and this is the large size. I think you got it, right? Error, bad lines, false, not working, sir. For me, it is working, you can see. Okay. Now, if you want to see any image URL, you can use iLock, okay? And you can give the number of rows, like in which rows you want to see the image URL. I'm giving 237, and I want to see the large URL, okay? Now, if I execute, this is the URL. Now you can control and right click, you will see this particular book URL. Okay, maybe you can see the new one. Let's say I want to see the 10 number books URL. So this is the 10 number books URL. See, this book name is Nights Below Station, I think it's Station Street. Okay, this is the book name. So this cover letter we need, cover, let's say poster we need. Whenever I will create the application, okay, there I will try to render in the Streamlit UI. That's why I need that. Yeah, so maybe you have done the spelling mistake. See, it could be separator error bad lines false encoding Latin 1. Maybe you have missed something, that's why it's not working. Check it out. Okay, now if I show you the book.shape, like how many rows it is having, you can see it is having 2,71,360. Okay, 60 like book data it is having, and 8 columns it is having. Okay, these are the 8 columns it is having. Okay, and if you see the column name, you can use book.columns. So it will give you all the column name. So I think you know the basics of pandas operation, guys. Yes or no? Do you know basics of pandas operation? Like we already did, right, previously. How we can manipulate the data, how we can let's say work with the data with the help of pandas. I think you already know. All right. Okay, now one thing I will do. So here we have 3 kinds of URL. We have a small URL, we have medium poster URL, that means small size poster, medium size poster, and large size poster. So I'm going to use the large size poster, okay, because this poster is not having good resolution. So instead of using let's say small and medium, I will only use the large one. So here what I will do, I'll try to only select, these are the column: ISBN number, book title, ISBN number, book title, book author, year of publication, publisher, and image URL large. Okay, not the small and medium. Now, if I show you my book.head, you'll see that instead of having this small and medium URL, now I only have the large URL. Okay, and these are the column I am having. Now, one thing you can see, this column name is very big, and sometimes it is confusing because you can see it is having this hyphen and all. So what I will do, I'll just try to simplify the name of the column. So for this, you can do the rename operation. So books.rename. So book title, I want to rename with title. Then book author, I want to rename it only author. Year of publication, I want to convert with only year. Publisher, publisher. Image URL, only image URL, like that. Okay, so that I can call in a very easiest way. And in place is equal to 2 means I want to do it permanently. Now if I execute, and now if I show you my book.head, now I think you can see this column name has been changed. Okay, here the codes are yeah, code I will share, definitely I'll try to share. So let me share. See, otherwise try to wait for the entire implementation, then I will share. I think that would be fine. Otherwise I can also share. So research updated. Now it is available over my GitHub. You can check it out. First of all, try to see the entire implementation, then clone it. Okay. Yeah, MLOps wise, I will show you how we can add the Docker. We'll see the Streamlit app deployment on the AWS with the help of Docker. We'll try to show you, Deepak. Okay, so my book data is sorted. Okay, now I will load the next data called user.csv. Okay, this one. So this is the code. Again, I'm using the same thing. You can see I'm using pd.read csv. Then I'm giving the user.csv separator semicolon error bad lines false and encoding is equal to Latin 1. And I'm calling this particular data frame as user, okay, because it's a user information. Now let me load. Now if I show you user.head, so see, this is the data. So it is having the user ID, unique ID, user location, and age. Okay. And where you can see the nan, because it's a missing value. Okay. So you can see the nan, that means it's a missing value. So during data collection, maybe they didn't able to collect the sum of the age, okay, of the person. That's why it's nan. And if I show you the shape, so this is the shape. So it is having 2,78,858. Now this shape and your book shape is not same, okay, because during data collection there is a possibility they are able to collect more user data instead of book data, okay. So that's why we also need to take care of this part. Now I want to modify some column name. Let's say user ID I want to only define as user underscore ID. Then location I want to make it as small case location, and age also I want to rename as a small case age, okay. For this I have already written this line. So user.rename, user ID, location, age is, and in plus is equal to true. Now if I execute, now if I show you the user.head, see, this is the data now, okay. Yeah. Now we'll try to load the next one called book ratings, okay, this particular file. So again, I will be using the same code. So book rating.csv, separator, bad lines, Latin 1. Now if I show you the ratings, so you can see it is having user ID. Now you can see here user ID and this user ID, okay, this is the similar column, okay. With the help of that we can easily get the user, okay, who is having, I mean, the user of that particular books, okay, and who has given the rating, everything we can understand with the help of this user ID. And this is the book rating, like how many rating they have given in the book to this specific book, okay, we can get the information from here. And how I can identify the book name based on the ISBN number, because if I show you the book CSV, it is having the ISBN number, okay, and the rating is also having the ISBN number. So if I compare the ISBN number, so I will get the book name, because in the book data I have the book name, okay, here I have the book name, okay, here I have the book name. So I think you can see the relationship between three data, guys, yes or no. So the first data is having ISBN number, book title, and everything. The second data, it is having here, it is having the user information, that means user ID, location, and age. And the third data, it is having user ID, ISBN number, and book rating. That means it is having some relationship with all the CSV files, so that I can get the user information easily. And if I show you the rating.shape, again, you will see that this is the that many of example we have in the ratings. Now again, I can change the column name. I can show the head. So all the column name now is same. Okay, you can see all the column name, it is same right now. Ratings here, user ID. Here also we have the user ID. Okay, I have converted to the same name. Now if I show you all the data shapes, it's not same, okay. So this is the first one, that means book shape. This is the second one, user shape. This is the third one, rating shape, okay. Now why it is different, because I already told you there is a possibility during data collection they collected that many of book information, that many of user information, that many of rating information. That's why it's not same. share the code. Okay, so let me save. Now check for it. It's updated. Okay, so now the next thing what we'll do, guys, I want to see like how many users are here who is reading actually most of the books. Okay, like see, there is a possibility. Let's say you are the user and you read multiple books. Okay, let's say you are also reading book 1, you are also reading book 2, you are also reading book 3, like that. That means the same user, he or she can read multiple books. Okay, so if you want to see that, you can use the value counts. So I want to see on top of the user ID. Now if I do the value counts operation, now you can see this is the user. Okay, so he's occurring that many of time. That means this particular person reads the books a lot. Okay, different books he has written, sorry, he has actually read. That's why this is coming that many of number. Then this user, then this user, then this user. Okay, so I can say this user has it's kind of bookish person, and there are some user like us who only read one time. Okay, you can see. So how many of you are here, guys, who likes to read books? If you ask me, I don't usually like. Whenever I read books, I get sleep. Not a book reader. Okay, Galla is telling me. Then Galla, you are falling in this particular category. Okay, and we are falling in this category. Who can read books in a lifetime? Maybe an organization like library. Yeah, see, there are like so many people actually, they read books every, let's say, day. Okay, every day. I mean, in a day, actually, most of the time they will spend their time with the books. I've seen these kinds of people. Okay, and here for our analysis, see, we are not going to use this particular user who has only written 1 to 2 times. Okay, we will be only filtering out those user who has at least written, who has at least read actually 200 time. Okay, 200 time. So we'll be only picking up those user, because we can consider these are the data is outlier. Okay, so again, it is called feature engineering. I think you know what is feature engineering. So here we try to make the features, right? Hmm. And how to do it? So this is the code. So here we are filtering out those user who has at least written. Okay, you can see let's store user who had least rated, okay, more than 200 books. That means who has read actually more than 200 books and who has rated actually 200 books. Okay, more than 200 books. Those user actually I'm trying to capture. I'm trying to filter. Okay, in the X variable. Now, if I show you the X, so these are the user actually who has written, who has actually read more than 200 time and who has read it actually more than 200 time. Okay, Now, if you want to see the shape, so you can see that many of user. Okay, so total number of user I have, see that many user, and from that, how many user has rated more than 200, guys? That many of. Okay, and all the user like us. See, it's just an assumption number. Okay, Siam. You can also pick up 300, 400, like that. But I did with 200, and that time I got some good accuracy. That's why I'm taking 200. Again, it's an experiment. Okay, what is EDA? What is feature engineering? Again, it's an experiment thing. Why there is true or false? True or false means true means this user has rated more than 200. Okay, that's why it's true. And this user has rated less than 200. That's why it's false. Okay, Teddy. And how many user has rated more than 200 books? Only 899. Okay, and rest of the people are like us. Okay. So I will get the index number. So I can get the index. So these are the index of the more than 200 rated user. Okay, these are some index number. Now we'll try to filters them. Okay, with respect to the user ID. Or I think I can do one thing. Mm. So in the ratings, actually, I'm passing this index number. So it will try to filter those user only. Okay. Now, if I show you, see, only those user who has rated more than 200 time. Okay. Yeah, Deepak, I think long back I did the same thing, but there I didn't show you the end-to-end one. Yeah. Now we'll try to merge these books. Okay. That means this rating with our books. So here we're doing the merging operation, rating.merge. We are trying to merge the books. You can see this is the books. Yeah, okay. Based on the ISBN number, because ratings and book is having the ISBN number. You can see rating is also having ISBN number. Book is also having ISBN number. Okay. So we are merging these two data frame together. And we are naming it as rating with books. Okay. Now if I show you, now this got merged together. See, so we have user ID, ISBN number, ratings. Okay. So we got the ratings from the rating itself here. Then title, author, year, publish, and image URL. That means from the 3 data frame itself, I have to make a single data frame, and I have to work on that. And for this, we are doing the filtering, pre-processing, cleaning. Okay, everything we are doing. Now here I want to see, like, say, which book has got like how many numbers rating. Okay, for this I can apply group by operation. So you can see number of ratings with books group by title ratings. Okay, count reset index. So it will give me number of ratings you got. So this particular books got 2 ratings. This particular books got 1 ratings. Okay, that's how it will give you the number of ratings. And I can rename this column as number of ratings. Okay, like that. Now this number of ratings I will merge with my ratings with book data frame based on the title. Okay, now if I show you the final rating dot head, so this is the data now. So ratings, and you also have number of ratings. Okay, that means we have created a new column here. Okay, new column here, and this is called feature engineering. Okay, we are creating a feature. Share the code, so definitely I can share. Now check. Okay, now here you can see some of the column is having some of the book is having only 1 rating, 2 ratings, like that. Okay, but I don't want to uh, let's say use these are the books which got, let's say, 1 rating, 2 ratings, like that. At least I need those books uh, which got actually more than 50 ratings. Okay, for this I will do another filter here. So final ratings, I only need those books who got more than 50 ratings. Okay, now if I show you, these are the books actually got more than 50 ratings. Okay, these are the books. And here I have some duplicates, okay, in the data. So I can drop the duplicates also, like that. In the user ID and title, I have some duplicates data, so I can drop it. Then, yeah, I think it is ready. Even you can also see the missing value. Now I don't think there is a missing value. You can check. So is null dot sum. See, there is no missing value, okay, in the data. Now what we'll do, guys, for the clustering technique, okay, for the collaborative filtering, we have to convert this data to the pivot table. Okay, do you know what is pivot table, guys? Any idea? Pivot table. What is pivot table? How we can create the pivot table? So let me show you what is pivot table exactly. Let's say this side I have user ID. Okay, user ID. Let's say 224, 225, 226, and so on, like that. These are the user ID. Okay, and this side I have the book title. Book title. Okay, book title wise, let's say I have a novel. Then I have 4 blondes. I have Years of Wonder, like that. Okay, now what will happen in the pivot table? Let's say this user has rated this particular books, let's say 8.5. Okay. This user has rated this particular books. That means, sorry, a novel. I'm talking about a novel. This is the book title. Na? So here I can draw like that. I think that would be fine. Book name. T book as of now consider, and book name I can write like that. Name. Okay. Now let's say this user has rated a novel 8.5. This user has rated this book, let's say 7.5. This user has rated this book, let's say 8.6, and so on. Again, this user has rated 4 blondes, let's say 9.5. This user has rated, let's say 3.5. This user has rated, let's say 9.6. So this user has rated these books, let's say 5.5, 6.5, and 5. Okay, 5.0. So this is called pivot table. Okay. Now, can anybody tell me what is the relationship you can see? I told you about the collaborative filtering. Na? What collaborative filter does? Okay. It collaborates with different user. Na? Now, if I want to get the recommendation with respect to the user interest, how I can get it, guys? So can I tell, let's say this 244 user, okay, and 226 user having the same interest? Yes or no? Based on the ratings. Yes or no, guys? Tell me. Yes. And 2 to 5, this user is having different interest. Maybe this user is having interest with any other user, okay, in the entire pivot table. Yes or no? Are you getting my point? Yes or no, guys? Tell me. Because if you see the distance, okay, distance of this two vector, it would be very less with compared to this one. Then again, here you can see this 2 to 4 for the 4 blondes, 2 to 4 and 2 to 6 is having same interest, and this user is having different interest. Okay, so that's how this works. And here we'll be using clustering algorithm to do the distance measurement. Okay, now I think you got it. Why we have to convert to the pivot table, this entire data? Because in the data itself, I have the ratings. Okay, I have the ratings. And easily I can use the ratings to do the pivot table to get the same interest of the user, to build a collaborative filtering. Now I think you know, you got to know, okay, why ratings are super important for all the e-commerce site. Yes or no? If you open any kinds of e-commerce site, they will be having the ratings, guys. Whether it's a books, whether it's a smartphone, whether it's a, let's say, any kinds of cosmetics, definitely they will have the ratings. Got it? Why ratings data they usually take from the user? Because of this, these kinds of system. Okay, these kinds of recommender system they want to implement with that. What kinds of recommender system? Collaborative based recommender system. Now I think you got to know how they are finding the similar kinds of user. Got it? Yes or no, guys? Any confusion? Let me know. See, ratings is the main thing. With the ratings, actually, I can understand. Without rating also, there are some data you can consider, but rating is the main thing. Siam. You can also talk about genres. You can also talk about, let's say, if I'm talking about movies, you can also talk about, let's say, interest of the actors, like that. Okay. So you have to find out one specific common terms, okay, from the entire data, and that would be your, let's say, root point to get the same interest. So here we are getting the ratings. So this is our root point. Okay, Sam is telling never knew the pivot is that important. Yeah, it is important. Yeah. Okay. Now see how beautifully I'll try to build the entire recommender system with the help of this pivot table. How? Let's do it. So now first of all, I'll try to convert it to the pivot table. How to do it? So in the pandas only, we have the pivot table function. So final rating, we're applying pivot table based on the user ID, title, and ratings. Okay, user ID, titles, and ratings. Why? Because if I show you, we need the user ID. Okay, we need the book titles, and we need the ratings. Got it, guys? So that's why you have to select these 3 columns. Now, if I execute, it will automatically convert to the pivot table. See, convert to the pivot table. See, the same pivot table I showed you. This side you have the user ID, this side you have the book title, this side you have the ratings. And wherever you have the nan, what nan means, guys? Tell me. Nan means this person has given 0. Okay, 0 to this particular books. Okay, 0 rating. That's why it's nan. Now I can't pass the nan data to the model. Okay, what I have to do? I have to convert it to the 0. Okay, how to convert? I'll tell you. Yeah, not a number, but I have to make it as a number. Okay, for this we'll be using something called sparse. So there is a things. Okay, but before sparse, I have to fill with 0. Okay, so if you see the shape of the sparse matrix, so this is the shape. So 742 and 888. That means this side you have 742, this side you have 888 columns. Okay, and first of all, I have to fill all the nan with 0 because I can't pass the nan to the model. Okay, that's why I have to convert it to the 0. Now you can see wherever you are getting the nan, it will be replaced as 0. Okay, and now we'll try to train the model. But before training the model, I have to convert. Okay, I have to convert this pivot table to CSR matrix. Okay, CSR matrix. So you can search CSR matrix. CSR matrix. So this is the kinds of matrix actually. It helps for the computation actually. Have you heard of like sparse matrix, dense matrix, CSR matrix, guys? Have you heard of? It's a kinds of number representation. Okay, yeah. So the model actually we are going to use the nearest neighbor. It accepts the CSR matrix. Okay. Yeah. So that's why we have to convert to the CSR matrix. How to convert? So for this, yeah, we'll be importing from the SciPy. Okay. SciPy is a library. Inside that we have sparse and CSR matrix. Okay. Let me import it. And then inside that we'll be passing my pivot table. Now this will become your sparse matrix. Okay, this would be a sparse object. If you see the type, it's a sparse matrix. Okay, you can see. CSR matrix. Now we'll try to import the nearest neighbor model from the sklearn, and in the model we'll be using brute algorithm. Okay, so in the nearest neighbor we have different algorithm. We'll be using brute algorithm, and we'll initialize the model. And now we'll try to feed the data. Done. Okay, our training is done. So you can go to the documentation of sklearn Gala. Okay, so there they have written, let's say k nearest neighbor supports what particular matrix. You can go to the sklearn documentation, all the detail, let's say things they have given. There you can read it out. Share the code definitely. Let me save and I can share you the code. Yeah, done. Now my training is done. Now let's try to test, okay, whether I'm getting the recommendation or not. Okay, so for this, here this is my book pivot, right? Okay, this is my book pivot. And here, if I want to get a book information, I can do the ilog operation. That's I need 237 number of books. And what is the book name? Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. Okay, this is the book name, and this is the metrics of the book. That means this is the ratings. Okay, now I will pass this particular book to the nearest neighbor model, and this nearest neighbor model, what it will do, guys? So I think you know that. Let's say this is the entire category I have. Let's say this is the entire category I have. Okay, different book category. Let's say I have. Okay, entire book category I have. Now let's say I have passed the Harry Potter. Okay, Harry Potter, that particular book. Let's say this particular vector is occurring here. This particular vector is occurring here. Now, can you tell me in which cluster it will fall? First cluster, second cluster, or third cluster? This is the first cluster, second cluster, third cluster. Based on the distance, if you measure the distance with all the vector, in which cluster it will fall, guys? Third cluster. Okay, so this is what actually this nearest neighbor will do. That means I will pass one book information. Okay, let's say this is the book information I will pass. Now it will apply that distance formula and it will give you the nearest category. That means these are the nearest books it will try to return. Okay, these are the suggestion it will return. Okay, so how to do it? So for this we'll be using this code. So model k neighbors. Okay, there is a function called k neighbors. Inside that I'm giving a book name. Which book name? Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. Okay, so this is the idea of the book. Then I'm doing the reshape operation because it's a one example. That's why I'm reshaping with 1 minus 1. Okay, and the suggestion, that means I need 6. Okay, 6 nearest books. Okay, 6 nearest books with respect to the Harry Potter. Okay, I think you can set this parameter. I think you know that, guys, right? Nearest neighbor, near parameter. If you give it 5, it will give you 5 suggestion. If you give 6, it will give you 6 suggestion. Okay, based on the distance measurement, based on the, let's say, lowest actually distance, it will suggest you 6 category, 6 books. Okay, so it will give you the distance as well as the suggestion. Now if I execute, so you can see this is the distance, this is the distance. Okay, this is the all the 6 distance. Why it is 0, guys? Can you tell me why first one is 0? 1 2 3 4 5 6. Why first one is 0 distance? Can anybody tell me? Why the first book is having 0 distance? Book itself. That means the book I have passed, this book itself is the, okay, it is comparing with that. That's why it's a same book. Okay, because see, the book you are passing here, definitely this book is present, and if you calculate the distance with respect to the same book, definitely you will be getting the 0 distance. Getting then the second book, third book, fourth book, fifth book, and so on. Okay, and this is the suggestion. That means other book ID. So these are the book ID it is suggesting. That means the nearest one. Now how I can get to know what is the name? So for this I can use this code. This is the code I can use. So I will apply a for loop on the suggestion, and there is a book pivot index. Okay, if you give the suggestion, that means this particular index to the book pivot, So this will return you the book name. Now see, these are the suggestion I'm getting: Harry Potter, Chamber of Secrets, Harry Potter, Prisoner, and Azkaban, and Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, Harry Potter, the Sorcerer's Stones, and the Cardinal Will Fall. So these are the suggestion. Now tell me, guys, this recommendation is correct? Yes or no? The book I have selected based on the recommendation I'm giving, based on the nearest books index I'm giving, it is correct or not? Yes. See, the distance calculation is very simple. Okay, Deepak, you just consider there is a cluster. You are giving a book. It will try to, let's say, calculate all the distance with respect to all the vector, which is whoever is getting, let's say, less distance, it will suggest you that particular books. Okay, this is the idea. If you know how k nearest neighbor works, I think you know that. Okay, how it is working. No, similarity score is a different thing. Okay, similarity score we have to use in a different, let's say, we can use similarity score in the content based recommender, not collaborative. The last book is irrelevant. No, it is not irrelevant. If you see the Cradle Will Fall, it is kinds of Harry Potter, I mean, flavor. Okay, you will get. See, again, you can see the vampire and all. So it is kinds of Harry Potter flavor. Ganesh, okay, that's why. Got it. Now what we'll do, guys, we'll try to keep all the books name in a variable, because later on whenever we'll try to create the Streamlit app, I need the books name. So that's why I'm creating all the index of the pivot table. Index is nothing but it's a book name. Okay, you'll see it is having all the book name. Okay, we'll try to save this book name as a pkl file later on. That's why we are doing it. So if you want to access the index, you can do like that. Let's say 2 number is the second chance books, 3 number it's a 4 blondes. Okay, 4 number it's a Charing Cross Road. Okay, so this is having different books name. Now, how to find out the book's poster URL? We also have the poster URL where in the final ratings. So there is a data I have called final ratings. Yes or no? So here I have the poster URL. So this poster URL also I have to fetch. Okay, based on the recommendation. Let's say this is the recommendation I'm getting: Harry Potter, Prisoner. Okay, this one. So I also need the poster URL. How to do it? So for this, I can write this particular logic. So here, this is the logic I can do. np.where book private index is equal to 4 blondes. Okay. So what I want to do, I want to extract the ID only, that book ID. So let's say this book ID is equal to 3. Now, if I give this book ID, okay, where to the final ratings. Sorry, this is the user ID. If I give the user ID to the final ratings, this will return me the image URL. How? So this is the code for this. So you can see np.where final ratings title. I'm doing the same thing. Okay. Then here I'm getting the ID of that particular book user. Now simply I'll try to pass this particular ID to the final ratings, and I'll try to extract the image URL. Now see, this is the image URL of the Harry Potter Chamber of Secret. Now if I open it up, you can see this is the image URL. Okay, I hope you got it. It's a simple logic I have written. Not based on the ISBN number, you can see based on the user ID. Okay, user ID. Sai. I think you know what np.where does, right? Now with this logic, I'll write a code here. First of all, I'll try to extract the book name. I'll try to save in a list. Okay, the same thing I'm doing. The things I showed you here. Okay, in a single line. Now I'm doing in a for loop. So I'm getting all the books name. Okay. Now I want to extract all the poster URL. But for this, I need the index. That means user ID. How to get it? Like this is the code. Okay, that means this particular code I'm applying. np.where final ratings title is equal to name of the book. I'm getting the ID, and this particular ID I'm storing in the index list, and these are my index. Okay, now with respect to the index, I will fetch the image URL. How? That's how. Okay, in the final ratings, I have the URL. I'm getting the index and I'm extracting the image URL, and these are my image URL. Now you can open all the image URL one by one, and you can check. This is the next one. Okay, like that. See, okay, I'm getting all the poster URL right now. Now with the help of Streamlit, we'll try to render in the our app, okay, web app, so that it will have a good look. Now we'll try to save some binary object. So the first binary object I'm going to save. So here artifact, I don't need. So let's create a folder here. All artifact, okay. So first of all, I'll try to save my model object. Then I'll try to save my book name. Okay, I think you know what is book name. That means it will have all the book name as a pickle. I think you know what is pickle and unpickle, right? We can save any kinds of Python object as a pickle. Later on, I can unpickle and I can use it. Okay. Then I'm saving final ratings, because inside final ratings, I have the poster URL. Okay. You can see I have the poster URL. Then I'm saving the book pivot table, because here I have the ratings and everything. So these are the object I have to save. So later on, whenever I'll try to build a recommender system, okay, I need these are the object, because I have trained my model and now I have all the information and I want to store as a binary object. Later on, I'll try to load and I'll try to use it. Okay, so I'll do the dump operation. Now you can see in the artifact, all the object has been saved. Okay. Now how to write the final function to get the recommender? So this is the final function. So for the testing model. So here I have written a function called recommend book. So it will give the take the book name, then it will apply the same concept. Okay, as of now, whatever things I showed you, I've written the same thing. First of all, I'll get the book ID. Then after that, we'll try to do the distance calculation. Okay, it will return me distance and suggestion. Then from the suggestion, I'll get the book name. Okay, and this book name I will show in the console. Now if I execute, now let's say if I give a book, let's say Harry Potter and Chamber of Secrets, this is the book name and it will give me the suggestions. Okay, this 1 2 3 4 and 5. Okay, 5 book suggestion, and here I have given the 6 and 6 itself. That means one book would be this book itself. Okay, I'm not getting the first book. That means this is the book I'm giving. I'm only getting the suggestion one. That's why it's giving me 5 book suggestion. I hope you got it, guys. Got it? Now let me save and let me share in the. Now you can give any books. Let's say I will give book name. That's from the book name. I'll give another book. I'll give this one second chance. So this will give me suggestion related second chance right now. So it is giving next accident explosive, the ghost, and unspeakable. Okay, then last man standing. So if you read these are the book, you will see the same test. Okay, so that's why it is giving you the recommendation like that. Now this is the Jupyter notebook implementation, guys. Okay, this is our experiment, and now we saw that this experiment is working fine. Now we'll try to build the pipeline. Okay, and we'll also build the application, web application of our entire project. So till here, guys, everything is clear. Let me know how we have built the entire system, collaborative filtering system. Let me know. Yeah, 5 minutes break definitely I'll give. Then we'll start the pipeline development. All clear? And definitely just try to go through the notebook once. Try to execute from your end. Definitely all the doubt would be clear. Because I know that live coding is always fun and confusing a little bit. Okay. So please try to watch the recording and try to execute from your end. Definitely it would be clear. Yeah, PKL I also already shared. If you go to my GitHub, if you refresh in the notebook, in the artifact, this PKL is also there. Okay. And no issue. We'll try to create the entire training pipeline. Okay. Training and prediction pipeline so that you can generate the pickle file easily. Because here all the steps we have done manually. Now we have to make the automated pipeline. So once you will click on the button, all the pipeline will run. Data ingestion, validation, transformation, model training, one by one it will run. Artifact means it's a naming convention. Okay, artifact means, let's say, whatever we generate, okay, from our code, we try to save in the artifact folder. It's a naming convention of a folder, okay, in the software development. So can we have a 5 minutes of break? Then after that, I can show you the development, guys. Is it fine? Okay, so let's have a 5 minutes of break. Hello everyone, are you back? Um, Guys, I think we can start. Let me know. Okay. So far we have developed our notebook experiment, and now it's time to do the modular coding. That means we'll try to build the entire ML pipeline. Okay. So for this, first of all, we'll try to create a project folder structure first of all. Okay. So to create the project folder structure, either you can create it manually. So let's say there is an icon, you can create the folder. Inside that you can create a file. Let's say I want to create a folder. I can click here. Let's say folder name is test. Inside that I want to create a file. Again, what I will do, I will click on new file. Let's say test.py, like that. Okay. So manually I can create the folder structure, because whenever you are developing any kinds of end-to-end project, you have to create the folder structure to manage the modular coding. I could not join the earlier today's class. Can you please tell what are the resources shared by today? If you click on the resources section, okay, on the top of the chat, you will see the link I have shared. Okay, so today we're implementing book recommender system project. So this is the GitHub URL of that. Again, I'm sharing in the chat. Devanjan. So for our project also, we need a project folder structure. Now, how to create the project folder structure? See, I always follow one approach. Either you can use the bash script, either you can see, for the bash script you need a bash terminal. Okay, but those who don't want to use the bash script, so they can create a Python file named template.py. Template.py, and inside that we'll just write a simple Python logic. So this will automatically create our project folder structure. Okay, what is the simple let's say code? Let me show you. I already use this particular let's say script. Okay, it's a very simple script I have written. Now here I just need to change the list of the file. Let me delete. Here I will give book recommender. Instead of sign language, I'll give book recommender. Okay, and inside book recommender, I'll create a component folder. Component folders. Okay, inside that one constructor file would be there, then data ingestion would be there inside component, then data validation should be there. So here I can write like that. Let's say stage, this is our first stage, 00 underscore data ingestion. So like that I will give different stages. This is our second stage, data validation. Then the third stage should be the model data transformation. Data transformation. And the fourth stage should be 1, 2, 3, 4th model trainer. Trainer, okay. Then I will create a folder called config, and inside config I will create a file called configuration configuration.py. Okay, then I will create a constant folder Inside that, I will have the constructor file. I don't need this one. See guys, I'm modifying this template. I'll explain, okay, what I have done here. First of all, let me modify because this is my previous project template I'm using. Then constant I don't need. Yeah, entity I need. Inside that, I will create only one entity called config entity. Artifact I don't need. Okay, then I need exception. Exception. Here I'll create a file called exception handler.py. Okay, then I need logger. Log.py. Then I need pipeline, training pipeline. Then I need utility, utils, util.py. So template I don't need because here we'll be using Streamlit. Docker ignore I need because we'll be integrating the Docker with our project. App.py we need because this would be our endpoint. Docker file we need because we'll try to containerize our application. Requirement we already have, I'm going to remove. I need setup.py. Okay. And apart from that, anything else I need? No. So I think everything is fine. Yeah. So this is my guys folder structure. Okay. Now, if I execute this particular file, what will happen? Yeah, I'll explain. Okay. Once I will execute, you will get the idea. Okay. Deepak, first of all, try to see. This is a template.py file I have written. Inside that, I have written a very, let's say, easy Python script. Okay. And this script, what it does, it creates folders and file. Okay. Inside your directory. What folders and file? These are the folders and file. Okay. In the list of the file I have written, these are the folders and file it will create. Okay. And this is the logic. First of all, what it does, it will go through the list of the file. Okay. Then what it will do, it will try to separate the file directory and file name. So here you will see this is the file directory and this is the file name. How to separate? With the help of path.split function, we can separate it. Then this particular code will try to create the directory with the help of os.make directories. And this particular code will try to create the file name inside the directory, okay, with the help of with open function. And if anything is exist, it will tell it is already created. Now let me save and let me show you. See the magic. So see, there is nothing right now. Now if I execute this template.py, Python template.py, see automatically your folder structure would be created. See guys, automatically it is created. Now if I expand, now I think you can understand, okay, what I have done exactly. See, in the component, I have data ingestion, data validation, data transformation, model trainer. Then in the config, I have configuration.py and init.py. Then in the constant, I have only constructor. In the entity, I have config entity. In the exception, I have constructor and exception handler.py, logger, log.py, pipeline, trading pipeline, utils, utils.py. Got it, guys? Yes or no? This is a Pythonic way to create the folder structure, okay, instead of using this particular button manually. Tell me, what is the meaning of all the folders are? See, it's you can give any kinds of name to the folder, but in the software development, there are some actually, let's say, naming convention people usually use. Okay, let's say for data ingestion, I use this particular file called dataingestion.py. And all the component, because in a project, in an end-to-end project, there are some component you have to remember. The first component we usually write called data ingestion. This will ingest the data from the database, from any kinds of URL. Okay. Then the second component, we have something called data validation. After ingesting the data, you have to validate the data. Then we have something called data transformation. In that case, you have to transform the data. That means you can apply all the feature engineering. In this case, we have done the let's say pivot table conversion. You can also do the same thing in the data transformation. Then at last we create the model called model trainer. Again, if you are doing any other project, let's say instead of clustering, if you are doing any other machine learning project, There you can also add something called model evaluation, model pusher. Okay, again, it's your design pipeline, how you are designing your project. It's not like that you have to follow my same template, okay, my template as it is. No, if you want, you can also modify this template, Deepak. Okay, so there is nothing permanent of the folder name and the structure I have created. This structure I have created because I like this structure. Okay, I usually follow this structure to manage my code, to manage my modular coding. Okay, that is why. Yes or no? Got it? Yeah. And again, config, here we'll be doing all the configuration management of our project. In the constant, we'll be writing the constant variable. In the entity, we'll be writing the entity. I'll explain this part. Okay, I'll explain what is config, what is constant. Whenever I'll write the code, that time I'll explain. As of now, just try to consider these are the folders and file you need for an end-to-end machine learning pipeline. Okay, and this should be common for all the implementation you will be doing in future. I'll show you one implementation development. Rest of the implementation, you can refer this particular template as it is. But if you want, you can also modify this template with respect to your requirement. It is completely fine. Okay. There is no hard rule. You have to use the same template. Now, if you go anywhere, if you see any end-to-end implementation, you will see that people use these kinds of structure. Okay. Not exact the same thing, but they use these kinds of structure. Similar structure. That's why. Because modular coding is what? Modular coding means you write different module and you integrate in an endpoint instead of writing in a single file. This is called modular coding. So here you can do the code management. You can add some more features in the future. Okay, and it's easy to write, easy to manage actually. That's why. In a single file also you can implement the project. It's completely fine. But why we write the modular coding? Why we manage the folder structure? For the future update. Let's say in future you have to add some another feature in the project. That time if you write everything in a single file, you will get confused, because it happens. Let's say today I have implemented a project. After 6 months, if I see the same code, definitely I will get confused. Yes or no, guys? Just try to consider the code you have written past 5 months. Can you remember the same code today? Tell me. No, right? So that's why we manage these kinds of structures, so that the code management would be easy for us later on. I saw somewhere that we also use .e. Can you please say that? I will tell you. Okay, .e, why we use, I'll tell you. So this is our project structure, guys. Okay, project folder structure. Now we'll be writing all the component one by one. Okay, we'll try to manage the entire modular coding structure one by one. So let me commit the changes. Folder structure added. Now if you go to my GitHub, refresh, you'll see this template is updated. You can see all the template is updated. Okay. Now, what is the advantage to use the template.py? Let's say in future you need another file. Let's say you need test.py. So what you can do, simply you can write in this particular list like that, test.py. Now just try to save and execute the template.py again. See, it will ignore all the existing file. Only it will create the new file, test.py. Now you can see test.py file is created, but rest of the folders and files are safe. Okay, so this is the advantage to use the template.py. Only you just need to give one-time effort, okay, and rest of the project you can use it as it is. So I don't need test.py and try to remove it. I hope you got it, guys. Okay, what is the use of template.py? Yes or no? Tell me. Very simple code, guys. I'm expecting you are familiar with Python. see here I have written only Python code only. That's it. So if you take time and if you just open this code and if you try to understand, definitely will get okay what I have written here. Okay. Now the next thing, guys, what I have to do, I have to set up my project, okay? Because this is the end-to-end projects, and here I have so many folders and file. You can see so many folders and file. But previously I only had one notebook file. Okay, that's why I didn't make the project setup. Now I have to do the project setup itself. For this, we'll be writing the setup.py. Okay, because now we'll be writing the modular coding, and I will know that modular coding we write different component in different folder, and from there we try to import usually. Okay, so for this I have to set up my project as my local package. For this we'll be writing this setup.py. For setup.py there is a code I usually write. Let me show you. Setup.py. So this is the code I usually write. Okay, so here there is a package. Just a minute, guys. Okay, so yeah. So see, there is a package called setup tools. Inside that we have something called setup and find package. So here you can write this particular line. So this will read your readme file, and whatever content you have in the readme file, it will try to show. Okay, and why we need, let's say whenever you want to publish this particular project as the Python PyPy package. Do you know, guys, what is PyPy package exactly? So I think you know that this particular website called PyPy. PyPy. So here we have Python package. Okay, all kinds of Python package. PyPy.org. So if you search any package, let's say Pandas. So Pandas is a package. Okay. And if you go to the Pandas package, see here it is giving a project description. That means one documentation, beautiful documentation, and how this documentation is rendering. Because of this particular code, it is rendering. So this is reading this particular readme.md, and whatever content inside that you have, it is rendering in this particular page. So long back I created a package, guys, called image seeker. Image seeker. So this is my package. See, this particular package I created, and I hosted on the PyPy website. So see, this is my package. I am the author, and see, this is the project description. Here also I have given the same thing. Okay, and if you see the implementation, if I go to the project link, so here also I have written the same thing in the setup.py. See, the same thing I have written. Okay, so if you want to publish your own PyPy package, that time you can write this particular line. Got it? So if you want, guys, you can also create your own PyPy package and you can host over the PyPy so that people can use your package. You can use my image seeker package. Okay, so pip install image seeker, and what image seeker does, it's a auto image classification library I created. Let's say if you want to do image classification with the keras, you have to write so many line of code. Okay, but my package, what it does, it automates the pipeline. So only you just need to install my image seeker library. After that, just try to activate the image seeker. It will give you this kinds of web interface. So here you just need to give your data URL, model selection, number of epoch you want to train. Click on the start training. It will train your model. After that, you can do the prediction from the web itself. Okay, you can upload your image and you can do the prediction. So no code, you have to write no code here. Only you will get the graphical user interface and you can do the image training here. So this is the package I created long back. I think it was around 4 years ago I created this package, and it is published on my GitHub. Got it? So that's why we are writing this particular line. I hope you got it. Okay, then you can give your information like repo name, author name. Okay, then repo actually src repo recommender. So let's say in this case I can give my folder name, this one, because this is my root folder. Inside that I have all the component. Then list of the requirements, I don't have anything, that's why I've given. And this particular setup code is required. So here you have to specify the version, author, description, okay, and so on. And this find packet, what it does, it will look for this particular constructor file, and wherever this constructor file is present, it will set up that folder as your local package. Okay, this is the idea. Now, how to set up this one? So for this, you have to write this particular command in the requirement.txt. So -e space dot. So this -e space dot, what it does, it will look for the setup.py. It will install your folder as your local package. Okay, this is the idea. Because now if I show you, okay, previously I already set up. If I show you the pip list, see this book recommender has installed as my local package. Okay, because I already installed the setup.py previously. But for you, if you do pip list, this is not available. Book recommender is not available in your environment. You can check it out, guys. Do let me know it is available. Book recommender, it is available in your environment. No, but for me it is available because I installed setup.py. So this is called actually real-time development, guys. Okay, whenever you are implementing something end-to-end, you have to take care of this part. And apart from that, I also need some more packages. I need PyYAML because we have the YAML file here. Config. Side component. Okay, so there I have to create another file folder in the template.py. The config configuration.py, it is fine. But outside, config, and inside that I need one YAML file. Config.yaml. Okay, so now if I re-execute, now see config.yaml is there. And for YAML management, I need a package called PyYAML. And for user app implementation, we'll be using Streamlit. Okay, now let me install them. So pip install -r requirement.txt. Now see, here one egg info file would be created, okay, because of the setup.py, okay, because we have mentioned this command in the requirement.txt. See, book recommender egg info file. Okay, once it is created, that means your package installation is done. Okay, local package installation is done. That means now you can write the modular coding. Okay, now let me update the code. So setup edit. So again, guys, I'm telling you, first of all, try to see the implementation. Okay, and after the class, you can refer the recording and you can implement. All right, so it's done. Now I can close this at the tab. And see, if you understand this notebook implementation, you will be also able to understand the modular coding, because the same code will be try to do the copy pasting. Okay, only we'll just do the configuration management. This is the main thing. Otherwise, the logic we have written will try to copy paste the same thing in the component. Okay, but we'll be only writing in the modular fashion. That means we'll be writing in the Python class and method. That's it. This is the difference only. Okay, so everything is ready. Now the first thing we'll be writing the exception. Okay, why exception handler is required, guys? Can anybody tell me? Have you learned exception handling in Python? Why it is important? Tell me. So I think you know that. Let's say whenever my code will give some exception, okay, so it will give me that error message, like what is the issue and which line it is giving me the issue, so that I can do the debug operation later on. Okay, yeah. So for this, custom exception is always important. How to write the custom exception? So for that, I have already written a custom exception for you. So this a template you can use as it is. So this is the exception I have written, guys. App exception. So here I am done the inheritance operation with the Python pre-built exception module, and this is the exception handling code I have written. So this exception handling has one amazing functionality. This will give you the line number, file name, okay, and the folder name, everything. It will give you the detailed information. So that is what I have written this particular custom exception. So you can see how to write the custom exception. Go to the exception handling in Python. So if you go to the error exception, so here they have already given how to write the custom exception. Exception. Custom exception in Python. So in the documentation only, they have given how to write the custom exception. See, you can inherit, okay, then you can write some methods on top of that. Okay, so that's how we can create your own custom exceptions. So this is the concept of Python. And again, I'm giving you my template with you. So you can use this particular exception to your every project. Okay, all the project you will be implementing, you can use it. And what is the main benefit? Main benefit, it will give you the line number. Okay, so let me show you what I'm trying to say. Let's say in the app.py, first of all, I'll try to import this exception. So from book recommender, so it is available in the book recommender. Book. Okay, I have to select my environment first of all, I think. What is the environment? Why it is not showing my environment? Just a minute, guys. Retrieving terminal. Okay, sometimes it happens. So for this, what I can do, I can reopen my VS Code. Why it is not showing the environment option? Reactivating the terminal. Okay, not an issue. I can write it. So from book recommender. So this line actually I'm writing dot exception. Okay, import app exception. Okay, now let's say if I do some mistake, let's say I'll just write like that. Let's say write try a is equal to That's a 3 divided by 0. And here I'll just write exception as E. And here I have to import one library. Or system. Okay. Now see what happens. Now if I execute the code, python app.py. Now see it is giving you an exception. Cannot import. Okay, so why this exception is there? Just a minute, guys. Let me check. Okay, so here we have done one mistake, because if you see in exception, there is another file called exception handler. Dot exception handler. Okay, then import app exception. Okay, now it will work. Now see, it is giving you the entire error information. What is the error information? Books recommendation exception. Error occurred Python script app.py. That means in the app.py file, line number 5. Okay, line number 5, and the error is division by 0. Now I will go to app.py, line number 5, line number 5. And what is the problem? Here you are trying to do the 0 division. Okay, that's why you are getting the error. Now tell me, guys, if I get these kinds of messages, it would be easy for me to debug the code, yes or no? Tell me, yes or no? Because here you have so many files and folder. If you get any exception in the production, how you will get to know in which file, in which line your app is giving the error? And how to identify? With this custom exception handler, I can identify the exact error and the exact line number. Tell me, is it helpful? Is it helpful or not? Yes? Helpful, right? So that's why we have written our custom exception handler. Okay. Now, similar wise, we'll be also writing the custom logger. And now what is logger, guys? Can you tell me what is logger? What logger does? Logger will try to log the information of your execution. Okay. So this is the custom logger I have written. So here it will create a log file. Inside that, it will save the log time wise. Okay. Current timestamp wise. Now let me show you what I'm trying to say. So let's say here, what I will do, I'll import the login first of all. So from book recommender, I'll import the login. And here, I'll just write log dot logging.info, logging dot info. Let's say I want to save the login information here. Now if I again execute, now see one log folder has created, I think somewhere. And if I open the log, you can see the log message is there. That means previously it was giving me in my terminal, but in production environment, you won't be getting any kind of terminal. Okay. And if you want to identify the log message, okay, the exception, you have to check this log file. And it will also give you the date and timestamp at which time and which date it has given you this particular message. Okay. So this is super important component, guys. Okay, for all the end-to-end implementation, login and exception handling, you have to always add. I believe this is covered in your Python class, right? Login in Python, exception is Python. This is covered. All right. Then there is another super important file you have to write called utils. What is utils? Utils means the functions you will be using mostly in your development. That common function you have to write in utils.py. So in this case, I'm going to use one function frequently. The function name is read.yaml. So every time I have to read the YAML file from the config file itself. Sorry, not here. I think, yeah, config.yaml. So that's why I have written a function called read.yaml. This will get the file directory and it will return the YAML content. Okay. And if exception is occurring, I'm also handling the exception with the help of this exception we have created. Okay. So these are the common functions you have to add in the utils. Okay. This is your utility. Okay. Now I think our 3 component I have added, that is login, exception, and utility. Will you share the code resources for the project? Definitely I will share. Even I already shared in my GitHub today. So let me commit the code again. So utils, exception, and logger added. Utils means the common functions you will be using in your code. Okay. Those common function you can write in the utils folder. So every time you don't need to write that again and again. You can call from there, you can use it. Let's say read YAML. I need read YAML in the data ingestion. I need read YAML in the data validation. I need read YAML in the transformation. So every time I have to read this YAML file. So do I need to write that function again and again, guys? Tell me. Do I need to write this function again and again every time in all the component? Or what I can do, I can write in just one place and I can import it from there. Which one is the best? Writing this function everywhere or write in one place and use it everywhere? Right. So this is called modular coding. What is modular coding? Modular coding means code reusability. You are reusing the same code again and again. Got it? Okay. So it's done. Now the next thing, we have to specify the constant. So here it is done. Logger is also done. Utils is also done. See, this is, guys, very confusing at the very first time. I completely understand, but if you do it, okay, by yourself, if you write the code line by line with me, definitely this part would be clear. And that's why I'm suggesting after the class, okay, see the recording and try to write the code line by line and try to understand, okay, what I have done. Then everything would be clear in your mind. Okay. So if you understand the one template, rest of the project you can implement as it is. Okay, without any kinds of doubt. Just try to understand one template. Going forward, whatever ML project or DL project you will be implementing, you can use the same template as it is. And I promise there won't be any kinds of issue. Okay. Now we'll be writing the constant. Now what is constant? Constant means, let's say here I have one config.yaml file. Okay. But I need the path of that config.yaml file. How I can get the path? So here I can mention the path. How? So here, let's say, that's how I can mention the path. I can use operating system library. I can first of all get the root directory. Then this is my folder name called config. And inside that I have a file called config.yaml. Then I'm joining all the path all together. First of all, I'm joining the root directory, then config folder name, then config file name. This will give me the entire config file path. I hope you understand, guys. Okay. Because this path is not going to change. This path is not going to change in future. Okay. So that's why we are writing inside constant. What is constant means? Constant means there is nothing going to change in the file. That's why it's a constant. I didn't understand the exception handler. See, just try to remember exception handler will try to give you the exception of your code. Okay. And I'm expecting you already learn about exception handling in Python, Deepak. Because here we are learning the end-to-end implementation. This basics code I'm expecting from your side. See, code-wise, you don't need to understand. Code is already given in the documentation, okay? Code, no one remembers. Only just try to understand the concept, understand the logic. That's it. So this is just a custom exception function I have written. That's it. And this custom exception, what it does, it tries to extract the error information, file name, and the exception line, in which line your exception is giving. Yeah. So this constant will return your config file path. That means this config.yaml file path. Okay. So, and here I have written because this particular path is not going to change. So that's why when naming it as a constant. So in your project, whatever, let's say folder location or file location, if you like, it is not going to change ever, you can keep inside constant and you can read from there. See why we are writing like that? Because see, here we are not doing hard coding. Here we are not doing hard coding. Let's say in future I have to change anything. Let's say I want to change this one. Let's say this folder name. Okay, config.yaml. What I will do, I'll only change here and everything will reflect automatically inside your all the code. That is why we don't hard code the, let's say, variable. Okay, we always try to create as a template. And this is the main rules of modular coding. Okay, never hard code anything. Your hard coding means everywhere you have to change manually. Okay, and whenever you are creating a template, only one place you will change, all the place it will automatically get updated. This is the main benefit. Okay, now let me just quickly develop. So we have written utils. These are the thing. It is fine. Now another thing you have to update called config.yaml. Okay, so let me quickly update the config.yaml. So first of all, I need data ingestion config. So what data ingestion config? That means it will have data ingestion related variables or URL or whatever you are doing. So first of all, it will create an artifact folder. And you know what is artifact? Artifact means whatever my code will generate. So in this case, after doing the data ingestion, guys, what my code will generate? Tell me. After running the data ingestion file, what my code will generate as an output? Tell me. Let's say as an input, I'm giving my data URL. As an input, I'm giving my data URL. No. See, as an input, I'm giving my data URL. And in this URL, my data is present. This is the GitHub URL. Here, my books.data.zip is present. Let me show you. If I execute, it will start downloading. See. Okay. Now, if I show you this particular repo, so here my data is present. I think somewhere my data is present. Book data, GitHub branching tutorial. In this repository, my book.csv, see, it is zip, it is there. So I uploaded the data in my GitHub. Okay, from there I am getting the URL. How to get the URL? See, how to upload in the GitHub? Just open up any repository, and here you just need to drag and drop like that. Sorry, let me just do it again. You just need to drag and drop. It's not working. Otherwise, there is an option called upload. Add file, upload file. Okay, so you can upload any file like that. Drag and drop. So here I have very, less data. That means if you have huge amount of data, that time you can read the data from the database. But here I already have the existing data. That's why I'm uploading as a zip file to my GitHub, and from there I'm reading it. I'm utilizing the free services, okay, most of the time, because database, it will charge you at the end. So that's why I'm not using. Now, if I commit, so you'll see that my data would be stored in my GitHub, because GitHub is free for all, right? And you can see this e-commerce book data, it is available. Now, if you want to get the URL of the data, I'll click here, right click on the view raw and copy the link address. And this is the URL of the data. Okay, so similar wise, I collected my data URL and I pasted here. Let's say this is my input of my data ingestion, and as an output, what I will get, guys? Definitely it will give me the data.zip file, and I will also unzip the data and it will give me all the 3 CSV file, yes or no. So this 3 CSV file is my output of my code, and this output will save in the artifact folder. Okay, and in the artifact I'm going to create another 3 folder: dataset, ingested data, raw data. Okay, so in the dataset it will save the CSV file. In the raw data it will download the zip file. Okay, like that. I want to separate out my data. How? Let me show you. Okay, first of all, let me execute, then let me show you. And again, see, here I have written in the config.yaml file. Why? Because in future, let's say I want to change the data URL. I only will open this config.yaml file, and here I will change the URL. And everything will reflect automatically inside all of my code. This is called modular coding. Okay, this is called template. So here I don't need to change everywhere in my code. I will only open one file, one endpoint file, and there I will change, everything will change automatically. Okay, that's why I'm writing as a template. Okay, fine. Then after that, you have to write the entity. Okay, so what is entity? Entity means it's a return type. Let me show you. A return type of a function. So let's say after doing the data ingestion, what are the 3 output you will be getting? The first output, dataset, here in the config. So how many, let's say, things you are returning? 1, 2, 3, 4. But here you will see ingested data. Here I am returning 3 because here this is not required. Raw data is not required. Maybe data, raw data, ingested data, and dataset directory. Yeah. So dataset directory is not required because after doing the data ingestion, I will be getting ingested data and raw data. So this thing I'm mentioning here in the name tuple. And what is name tuple? Name tuple is a, let's say, file format. Okay, so this means you are mentioning the return type of the function. Okay, how? I'll tell you. Okay, whenever I'll try to develop, I'll tell you, okay, how to mention the return type of a function. As of now, you can consider entity means it's a return type of a function. Okay, that means it will only return, though that function will only return, these are the, okay, variable, nothing else. Okay, any extra parameter added in config.yaml? Yeah, I will also add some more, let's say, data validation, transformation. That's how we'll be adding going forward. It's done. Now, once it is done, we'll try to write the this one. Configuration.py. This configuration.py will write. Okay. Now in the configuration.py, we'll try to return. We'll try to return all the variable one by one. That means data download URL, dataset directory URL, ingestion data folder. Okay, then raw data folder. We'll try to return one by one. Just a minute. So how to return it? So again, I have written a Python class for that. So first of all, I need to import some necessary library. So in the configuration.py, so here, first of all, I will import OS system login read YAML. Okay. Why we are reading the read YAML? Because I have to first of all read the YAML, and inside YAML, I have all the content. That's why read YAML is important, guys. Okay. So let me just close these at the tab as of now. Then exception handler. Okay. Then in the config entity, I have written data ingestion config. This thing I also need to import. How to import? Like that I can import. Book recommender entity, config entity, import data ingestion config. Then here I have written a function, a class, and inside that I have written a method. Let me show you. This one. So here you can see the class name is app configuration. Inside that I have a constructor. So this constructor will take the config file path, and where this config file path is coming, it is coming from where, guys? Tell me. Where this config file path is coming? It is coming from here. Okay. Book recommender constant import star. What is star means, guys? Tell me. So here I'm doing book recommender constant import star. So inside constant import star, that means it will return me all the variable path one by one. Okay, star means everything, whatever things you have in the file, everything try to return. So that's why I can access the config file path. Why? Because inside that I have this particular variable name. Okay, I hope you got it. All the file, right? Yeah. So you can see this is a Python concept only, nothing else. Python concept and OP concept, nothing else. And in the inside that, whatever logic I have written, the same logic I have written in the notebook. I'll tell you this part. Then I'm reading the YAML file, and whatever content I have, it is storing in this particular variable. From that, I'm extracting one by one. First of all, I'm extracting data ingestion config. So here you can see I have data ingestion config. Inside that, I have URL, dataset directory, ingested, okay, raw data and everything. So this is what I'm extracting one by one. So you can see dataset directory, ingested data, raw data. Then I'm creating the entire location and I'm returning it. Okay, I'm returning it. And see, now I'm mentioning this particular function will return data ingestion config. So this arrow symbol means this function returns a data ingestion config. Now what is data ingestion config? Now let's click here. Now let's see here, data ingestion config. Where? In the config entity. Now what this data ingestion config returns, guys? Dataset download URL, raw dataset, raw data directory, and ingested directory. Now just try to match. It is returning dataset URL, raw data directory, ingested data. Apart from that, anything else it is returning? Tell me. Anything else it is returning? Yes or no? So in Python also you can specify the return type of the function. So that particular function will not return anything. Okay. So it's a verification layer you are adding. What happens in the production? Sometimes there is a possibility your function may return anything else. So you are specifying only these are the variable you have to return. Apart from that, you don't need to return anything. So this is called return type of a method. And this thing we can create with the help of this name tuple. Okay, name tuple. And here you have to create a structure like that. Got it? Yes or no? Now I think you understood what is config entity exactly. Now I can easily get this data ingestion config, and I can easily get what is my dataset URL, what is the draw directory, what is the ingested directory, and easily I can download the data from the URL itself and I can save in the folder. Now how to do it? For this, we'll be writing the component, data ingestion component. I'll tell you how to write the data ingestion component. And try to understand one component, guys. Rest of the component you will automatically get. Okay, the same concept. Now let's write this data ingestion component. Okay, so this will ingest your data from the URL itself. Now here, let me show you. So first of all, let me import all the necessary library. So I have imported operating system, URL lib. So with the help of URL lib, we'll try to download data from the URL. Okay, so this is a Python package. If you want to download anything from the URL, you can use URL lib. Then zip file, because it's a zip file, I also need to unzip the file. Okay, that's why zip file is required. Then login and exception. Login exception would be common for all the component, guys. Okay, because everywhere I have to add the log, everywhere I have to add the exception. That's why. Now here I have written a class called data ingestion. Let me show you. But one thing, see in the configuration, in the app configuration, I have my data ingestion config, because if I want to get the data URL folder directory, I have to call this particular method. For this, I have to import this class. And how to import? So this is the code for that. Book recommender config configuration. Book recommender config configuration, inside that app config is there. Okay. Now I can easily initialize the object and I can get this particular method. I hope you know like how to initialize the class object and all. Now this is the class I have written. Just a minute. So this is the class, guys. Now let's try to understand what I have written. See, very simple. Okay, so this is the class name called data ingestion. Inside that, again, I've written a constructor. So it will initialize the app configuration first of all. Okay, because this is the app configuration. So this will create an object. And from the object itself, I'm getting the method, because here is the method. Okay, and if I get the method, that means I can access everything in the method itself. So here you will, so if I show you, so here I've written in the try except block, because if any exception is occurring, my code will give me the exception. Then the first thing, I'm downloading the data from the URL, and this is the method I have written. How? First of all, I'm getting the data ingestion URL. Okay, from where? From data ingestion config, because inside that, inside the configuration, I have the URL. I have the raw data directory. I have the ingested data directory. Okay, from like that, actually, we are extracting all the things one by one. This is called modular approach, guys. Okay, we are not hard coding the folders and file. Instead of that, we are writing in the config.yaml file. Then we are making a configuration. From the configuration itself, we are reading it one by one. I hope you are getting the flow. Yes or no? It's a step-by-step flow. Okay, and we are doing all the configuration management all together, and we're using in the component. That's it. Now you can see, first of all, I'm downloading the data from the URL, and I'm logging the information also, like downloading the data from the zip file and all. Okay. Then if any exception is occurring, I'm also writing in the try except block. This is super important, guys. Whatever things you are writing, write everything in the try except block, so that if your code is failing, you will get the proper information. Then once my data is downloaded, I'm extracting the zip file, and this is the function. So here I'm using zip file function to do the unzip operation, and is saving inside the ingested folder. And this is the final method I've written called initiate data ingestion. That means this particular method will call your download data. Okay, you can see it is calling the download data function, and it is calling the extract zip file function. Okay, step by step. Now tell me, guys, if I want to download the data, first of all, which method I have to call? Download data or extract zip file? Tell me. If I want to get the data, first of all, which method I have to call? Download data or extract zip file? Tell me quickly. Download. Okay. If my data is not downloaded, then why I will extract the zip file, right? So zip file should be present first of all, then I can apply the zip file. Okay, so that's why it is called step of execution. First of all, you have to download the data, then you have to extract the zip file. Okay, done. Now this component I have to call in the pipeline. Pipeline means it's the step of execution. First of all, which pipeline should execute? So here my first pipeline is my data ingestion. Okay, it should execute. So this thing I'll write in the pipeline folder. In the pipeline, I have training pipeline. Now let me write the training pipeline. So pipeline, first of all, let me import my data ingestion, because I have already written the stage 01. Okay, and this is my data ingestion. I'm importing it. So from there, I will try to write a class called training pipeline, and here we're initializing the constructor, and here we're initializing the object of the data ingestion. And inside that, we'll write a method called start training pipeline. And here we are calling the initiate data ingestion. Okay, so here this one we are calling, and this one we are calling means it will call download data and zip file. Okay, so this is the connection. Now let's see whether it's working or not. For this, we'll try to run this training pipeline in the endpoint. So endpoint wise, I can create a file called main.py. So let's import it first of all. So import, so from book recommender pipeline, training pipeline, import training pipeline. Okay, this one. Then I will initialize the training pipeline. I'll create an object of training pipeline. Then I will call my initiate start training pipeline. Okay, this one. Now I think my data ingestion should work. Let's check, guys. Okay, so now see, artifact is not there. Now if I execute the endpoint, so python main.py. Now see, artifact got created. Now it is downloading the data from the URL. So see, zip file is getting downloaded. See, done. Now if I show you the artifact, see, dataset folder is created. Now see, you can check the config file right now. Okay, so dataset folder is created. Inside that, ingested folder is created. Inside that, first of all, raw data is created. Inside raw data, this is the zip file. Okay, and after unzip, it has saved the data in the ingested folder. You can see all the 3 CSV file. And this is what our first component called data ingestion, and it is working fine. Tell me, guys, did you get the connection between all the file one by one? Let me know. And this is the approach we'll be using for all the component: data validation, transformation, model trainer. And please try to check from your end and check in your system, execute in your system. Definitely everything would be clear. And this is called machine learning pipeline. Okay, machine learning pipeline. So let me commit the changes. So here I'm not going to artifact. Okay, fine. So let me commit the changes. So here data ingestion added. Now we'll go a little bit fast because I show you the flow. Now we'll be building the next component called validation. Okay, in the validation, we'll do all the pre-processing we have done in the notebook. Okay, same code. Okay, done. Now if I get back to my GitHub, refresh, so data ingestion should be added. where data validation is added. Okay. Yeah. So now let's implement the next one quickly. So for again, I will add the config.yaml. So the same flow, guys. Okay. So here I can write the workflow. First of all, you have to update config.yaml. Then the next thing you have to update configuration.py. Then you have to update the component. Then you have to update the pipeline. Then you have to update the endpoint, main.py. And at last, you have to update the app.py. Okay, so this is the flow for the code update, guys. Okay, always try to remember this flow. First of all, update config.yaml, then update configuration.py, then component pipeline main app.py. Okay, that's it. Okay, there is another one I forget. Before configuration, I have to add the entity. Okay. So if you see this one, you will remember, okay, how to which file you have to update at the first, which file you have to update at the last. Okay. Yeah. So this is the flow of our project. So now let's try to quickly add the next one called data validation. So I'll go a little bit fast, guys, because you've got the flow. So data validation. So again, we have some directory name. So here I have folder called clean data, serialized object. Okay, book.csv, book rating.csv. So these are the things I need. That's why I'm returning it here. Then I will update the config entity. And data validation will return. These are the variable only. Okay. Clean data, book CSV, rating CSV, and serialized object directory. Now we'll update the configuration.py. So here, first of all, I have to import data validation config from the config entity, this one. Okay. Then we'll write another method in the app configuration called data validation config. This one. Okay. Data validation config. And this is the return type. And what it returns this 4 variable. Okay. You can see it returns this 4 variable. And again, here we're doing the path mapping. Okay. Here we're doing the path mapping. We're getting all the path from the configuration and we're doing the path mapping and we're returning that. That's it. Very simple. Okay. Then after that, we have to update the component. So let's open the data validation. So this is the data validation. Now, those who have understood the notebook, I think you are getting okay what I am doing. See, first of all, we are loading the ratings book. Okay. Then our books, these two file we are loading. Then we are actually selecting all the column, like we are taking the large URL. Then we are renaming the title. Okay. Then after that, we are separating out the user ID. Then after that, we are getting the final rating. Do you remember, guys? The same thing we did the Jupyter notebook, yes or no? The same experiment we did the Jupyter notebook. We dropped the duplicates, yes or no? Yes. If you open the Jupyter notebook, you will see that I have done the same thing there. Only The change is there. I have written inside a method, and there I written inside the Jupyter notebook. That is the different. I copy pasted the code from my notebook. So let me show you my notebook. So here is my notebook. Okay, see here I have done the same thing. I have loaded all the file. Okay, then I have renamed. Okay, you can see I have renamed. Then after that I did the actually some filtering operation, like 200 books I'm taking. Okay, then after that I'm taking the ID ratings. Okay, these are the thing I'm doing it here. That's it. Do we have flow diagram of these steps which will make this more easy? This is the flow diagram. Here, code update flow diagram. Otherwise, you can also create a flow diagram as per your understanding. Okay, I don't have any flow diagram because I remember this, let's say, strategy in my mind always. Okay, that's why I don't need any flow diagram. But if you don't have flow diagram, if you want to create, you can do it. Okay, see, always try to create the diagram as per your understanding. The understanding you can remember. So let's say after understanding this project, just a minute, guys. Okay, sorry guys, I think I'm audible. Fine. So okay, now what I have done here. So this is the next component I've written, and you can see this is the final function. So first of all, here I've written initiate data validation. Then I'm calling my process data. So this is my function process data. So it will entirely process the data. It will save the data in the artifact. Okay, artifact, it will create another folder called process data. Inside that it will save, and it will also save the final data as a pickle file. Okay, final ratings as a pickle file. Why? Because I think, remember, in the notebook I also saved the same thing. Okay, I also saved the same thing because of the image URL. So here I think, remember. Okay, final rating because of the image URL. I also need to dump it, okay, as a pickle file. So now let me write in the pipeline. So here I'll open up the training pipeline and let me quickly write it here. So data validation. I'll initialize the data validation. I'll call the data validation. Okay. Now, first of all, it will ingest the data, then it will validate the data. How? With the help of this endpoint. Because here we're calling the start training pipeline. Now let me execute. So Python main.py. Okay, so my execution is complete. Now, if I show you my artifact, now guys, you can see here in the dataset, it has created a folder called clean data. Inside that, this is my clean data. Okay. After performing the cleaning operation, this is my clean data. And here it is also saved on serialized object. Inside that, this final ratings.pkl is available. Got it? So now let me push the changes. Data validation, add it. Now we'll create the next one called data transformation. And in the data transformation, we'll create the pivot table. Okay, I think remember in the notebook also after cleaning, we did the pivot table operation. Okay. Then we'll try to do the training operation. So again, let's update quickly. I think you know the flow. First of all, config.yaml. Data transformation. And it will only have the transform data folder. Then we'll update the config entity. It will return the clean data file path and transform data directory. Then we'll write the configuration.py. Data transformation config I have imported. Then I will get data transformation config. So again, it's a return type and it will only return two things, clean data and transform directory, because here we have mentioned clean data and transform directory. Okay, these two things it will return. Now quickly I'll just try to write the component. So let me open the component, data transformation, and this is my entire component. And here you can see I'm doing the pivot table operation. So here I'm loading, and this is the pivot table I'm creating, and I'm saving the pivot table, okay, as a dump object. And here I'm also saving the book name as a dump object. Okay, and here this is the final method. So here I'm getting the data transformation method. That's it. Now let me call inside pipeline. So model data transformation, initiate data transformation. Now let me execute. Done. Now if I show the artifact, so serial object, you can see my book names is also set, pivot table is also saved. Okay, this two object I need, and the same thing we did the in notebook experiment also. Okay, that means all the three component is running. Now the last component is model trainer. So let me add the model trainer also. So here again I'll try to add the model trainer. So here model trainer. And one thing guys, I will also add the poster URI. Okay, poster URI. So where you will get the poster URI from this API itself. So this is the actually you can see this is the website, the movie dv.org. So from here actually what you will get the actually URL. Okay. Okay, I think this is not required. Let me check. Okay, so I think I implemented another project. So there I was using movie poster. So from there, from this API, I was getting the poster URL. Okay, this is not required, but as of now, let's keep it. So here I need train folder, train model and model.pkl in the model configuration. So let me add quickly in the config. So model training, you can see it will return transform data file, train model directory and train model name. I'll add the configuration now. So here, first of all, I have to add the data model trainer config. Then I will add the method. If you understand one template, rest of the things you can automatically create. That is the main advantage to use this template. Similar concept. Okay. Now you can see I'm returning three things: transform directory, train model, and model name. So these three things. So once it is done, I will create the component model trainer. So here we'll try to train the nearest neighbor model. See, pivot table data we are loading. Then after that, we are training the nearest neighbor model. Then we are saving the model. That's it. Then we are initializing the model trainer. So here we are calling this train. Okay, train function. Now let's add it in the pipeline. Trainer. Initiate the model trainer. So now let's train the model, guys. Done. Now if I show you my artifact, so in the train model folder, you can see your model got trained. Okay, that means all the component works successfully. There is no issue. Okay. Now what we'll do, guys, we'll try to create the application. Now we'll try to create the web app. Okay, with the help of Streamlit, because now we are able to generate the model and my pipeline is running fine. Now let's do it. So for this, we'll open this app.py. So here we'll import first of all the necessary library. So we are importing OS PKL Streamlit, NumPy, login, then configuration, because in the configuration I have some configuration, then training pipeline and exception. Okay, train pipeline I need because there would be a button. Okay, if user clicks on the button, it will start the training pipeline. Okay, and they can also do the prediction. So here I have written this class recommendation. So this is a simple Streamlit app, guys. See, so here is the app header. So here I can write, let's say, book recommender system end to end. And here I have given a subtitle. Let's say this is a collaborative filtering system. Then we are getting the recommendation object. And in the recommendation, we are recommending the product. Okay, how? The same thing. First of all, we are loading the book pivot table, final ratings. Then the same for loop, guys. I think remember in the notebook also we have written the same thing. So we are extracting the book name. We are extracting the poster URL. Then we are returning it. Then it will recommend the book. How? We'll first of all load the model. Then we'll try to do the distance calculation. Then after that, we'll try to return it. Okay, we'll try to return the book list as well as the post study URL. Then this is the training engine. That means here we are initializing the training pipeline. The training pipeline we have created. Okay, then we are calling the start training pipeline object, this one, so that user can train. Then after that, this is the final recommendation engine. So here we are creating some you can say column. Okay, so what it is happening, so it will recommend the book, and this particular book I am mentioning in the Streamlit console one by one. Okay, all the 5 to 6 book, whatever it is returning, I'm just trying to render in the Streamlit console. Then this is the final button. So if user clicks on the train button, it will start the training engine. Otherwise, it will click on the show recommendation button. Now let me show you how this app will look like. So here I will open up my this one. And from where I'm loading the model, guys. So here you can see I'm loading the model from serialize object from configuration. Get configuration, recommendation config. So here in the entity, you have to write the recommendation config. Okay, so it will give you the book name serialize object, book pivot table, final ratings, and train model path. And this thing I have to write in the configuration.py. I've named it as model recommendation config. Here you can see model recommendation config. I'm importing it here. Then I will also return it as a method. Okay, so this will return book serialize object, book name, pivot table, final ratings, and train model path. Now let me save. And now I think it will work. So I'll go inside app.py. Now I think I'm getting the recommendation. Yeah, so it will load the model from the artifact itself. Okay. So yeah, now let me execute the app. So I'll just write. See how to execute the app. For this, let me write the command. So streamlit run app.py. Now guys, this is the user interface, but it is telling no such file templates book pickle names pickle. Okay, so here one thing I was doing, guys, the book name, book name I saved. This book name, serial object book name. So this book name I was reading from the template folder. So what I can do, I can create a folder called template. On the artifact, serialize object, this book name I'll copy inside because this book name will common. Okay, so that's why I'll keep inside template folder. Okay, now let me re-execute my app. Now see, your application is showing. Okay, now first of all, what you have to do, guys, you have to train the system. Okay, if your model is not available, first of all, you have to train the system. Okay, for me, I already have the model in the artifact. Okay, I already have the model. That's why I can easily get the recommendation first of all. But let's say you don't have the artifact folder. Okay, let's say you don't have the artifact folder. I'll try to delete the artifact. Okay, now if I click on show recommendation, it will not work because my model is not present. So first of all, I have to train the model. So let's train the model. See, train recommended system. And if I click here, it will hit this particular route, this train engine. Okay, and it will train the entire model. It will run the entire pipeline. Let me show you. See, it's running. And you can see your training is going on. Okay, so training is complete. Now I can show you this artifact got generated, and here you have the trained model. Okay, now I can show you the recommendation. Now here you can see it is suggesting all the book name. Now let's say I will select a book. Let's say I can also search here Harry Potter, this one. Now if I click on show recommendation, it will recommend. Now see, it is recommending Harry Potter related books. So Harry Potter, this one, and Prisoner, Harry Potter, and the Order of the Phoenix. Then the credit will fall. This poster is not showing because in the URL this poster is missing. Okay, that's why. Then exclusive thoughts of cookies. Now I can select another one. Let's say Pirates of Caribbean. This is available. Pirates. I'll select this. The Pillars of the Earth. Now see, this is the relevant book of the Pillars of the Earth. So how was the project, guys? Tell me. How is the project? You can select any other book. Let's say we'll select Second Chance. See, this is the recommendation. Okay, so this system we have created completely end to end. Now what you have to do, you have to go through the code, you have to execute in your system. Okay, then you will be able to understand each and everything. Now I'll show you how we can deploy this project over the AWS cloud, okay, with the help of Docker. Yes, little bit lengthy because see, if you want to learn something good as an end-to-end, definitely you have to spend some time, Sam. Okay, so once you have understood, then going forward, your learning would be better. Okay. And next time, whenever I'm coming up with any project in your batch, definitely you'll be able to understand because the same template I'm going to use. Maybe the project would be different, but template wise, I'm going to use the same template. Okay. Now let's add some more thing in the project. So here we'll be deploying right now. So first of all, we have to add the Docker file. Here is the Docker file. So here we'll be using 3.7 image. Okay. Slimbuster image. And here, this is the Streamlit app. And I think you know that Streamlit runs on port number 8501. That's why we're exposing to 8501. And these are the command you have to execute. Okay. Just to get some update and all. And we are getting a working directory and we're copying all the source code in the working directory. And we're installing the requirements. Okay. After that, we are hitting our Streamlit to the entry point. That means app.py and port number 8501. Okay. On the host. So this is the Docker command you have to write. And in the Docker ignore, I'm going to write some file. So if you have these are the files and folders, it will ignore that time. I also want to ignore this notebook because notebook is not required. So let me also mention it. So I'll also going to ignore my notebook. Apart from notebook, if you want to ignore anything, you can mention here. Artifact, I'm also going to ignore. Because you will be training the model, then you'll be using the model. So that's why it will ignore the artifact because as of now, my artifact is present in my directory. Okay, so everything is fine. Otherwise, you can keep the artifact if you want. So now let's start the deployment. Okay. So first of all, we'll try to commit the changes. So here, application. Yeah, deployment I'm showing you. Okay. Done. Now, if I come here, refresh. So yeah, so project is up to date. Now we'll try to deploy the project. Okay. And how to deploy for this? Let me show you the steps. The README file, I will add the steps. So this is the step to deploy any kinds of Streamlit app, okay, to the AWS. So Streamlit app Docker image deployment. Let me commit, README updated. Now, if I refresh, so see guys, this is the deployment step. Okay, first of all, you have to log in with your AWS console and launch the EC2 instance and run the following command. So first of all, you have to do the port mapping to 8501 because by default there won't be any kinds of 8501 port. Then we'll do some sudo update because we have to update the machine. Then we'll install the Docker there. Then after that, we'll clone our project. We'll build the Docker image. Then we'll check the image. Then after that, we'll run our image. Okay. Then we can use our application. And if you want, you can also push to the Docker Hub. Okay. Let me show you how it can be done. So guys, I think you have the AWS account. You can open it up. If you don't have, you can create your AWS account. So this is my AWS account. Okay. First of all, what you have to do here, I've written, first of all, log in with your AWS console and launch the EC2 instance. Okay. So let's launch the EC2 instance. So here you can search for EC2. And EC2 is a virtual machine. Okay. Virtual machine in Amazon. So here you can get computer, virtual computer. Okay. So here we'll try to launch the instance. You can give the instance name. So here, this is my book machine. You can give any name. And I'll select the Ubuntu machine. Always remember, whenever you are doing production deployment, you have to use the Ubuntu machine. Okay, without I mean, instead of using Windows or any other machine, try to select the Ubuntu machine. Okay, because this is the most used one. Then select this particular version, 2404 LTS. Now here you can select the instance type. So at least just try to take 8 GB RAM. Okay, so 8 GB RAM. This one, T2 large, I'll try to take. This is the machine configuration. And per hour, this is the charge. 12 rupees it will charge you per hour. Then just try to create a new key value pair. So let's say I'll give book and try to select this book key value pair. And after that, select HTTPS and HTTP traffic. Then configuration storage at least take 30 GB. Everything is fine. Now let's try to launch the instance. Okay, then I will view all instance. Now see, this machine is running. Now I have to do the port mapping. Just go inside that. To do the port mapping, go to the security. Now here you have one option called security groups. So here you have one option called edit inbound rules. Just try to click here. Then add rules. Here you can add port number 8501. You can also verify 8501. Okay. Then select 000 because you can access from anywhere. Now I'll try to save the rules. Then again, I'll go to the instance machine ID. Now let's connect the machine. Now this is the terminal I got, guys. Okay, this is called production terminal. So here you are not going to get any user interface. So here you will be getting a terminal, okay, Ubuntu terminal, Linux terminal, and here you have to deploy your project. So here I have already mentioned all the command. First of all, copy this command. We'll be doing apt get update. Because this is a newly launched machine, so here I have to set up some tools and software. So that's why we are doing it. Done. Now I'll copy the second command. Give the yes permission and press enter. T2 micro, if you run, see what will happen. T2 micro, here you are running ML projects. So for ML project to run the model, at least you need more than 4 GB RAM. Okay, Santosh. Sometimes T2 micro will, let's say, crash. Okay, that's why. But if you're running any simple project, you can do it. Because this is the free tier model. Na? So free tier instance, that's why. For MLDL project, at least go with 8 GB RAM. Okay, I'll suggest. Then you will get good performance there. So it's done now. I will install the Docker here, okay? Because by default, there is no Docker. Let me show you. So if I, let's say, do Docker PS, it is telling Docker command not found. So Docker is not installed. So I have to install the Docker here. So this is the command we have to execute one by one. So first of all, we have got one SS file. Okay, now we have to install the SS file. So in the SS file, we'll have all the command of the Docker installation. Okay, so now next, this is the command. Now this is the last command. Done. Now if you want to test, just write docker -" version. Now see Docker version is showing, and you can also run the docker ps command right now. Now see Docker, there is no container. That means it is running. Now we'll try to clone our repository. Okay, so let's clone our repo. I'll click on code, copy the link address, and here I'll try to clone. So git clone our repo. Done. If I do the ls, so this is the folder. I'll go inside that cd end-to-end book recommender system. Now if I do ls, see I have all the files and folder, and here I have my Docker file. Okay, and if I do cat operation on Docker file, so see all the commands is there. Okay, fine. Now what we'll do, guys, we'll try to build the Docker image. How to build? This is the command. So here, okay, so this is the command. So let's copy the command docker build. One thing, you can change the name of the app. Okay, so what I will do, instead of st app, I will give book app. Book app. Okay, this is the name of my Docker image file. And now I'll copy, and here let me execute. Now it is building the image. So it will take some time based on your project size. Then after that, I will execute as a container. So let's wait, guys. So once this building is done, we'll try to execute the image, and we'll also push the image to the Docker Hub. Yeah, when this EC2 instance it is in the active stage, that time it will charge. And if you stop it, it will charge for the storage that time, because you have created an instance, okay, and it is available over the AWS cloud. So for your instance, let's say storage, it will charge some amount of money, but it is very less. So if you don't need it, you can terminate. Terminate means you are deleting the entire instance, and stopping means you are stopping only. Okay, I'll tell you, okay, how to clean up everything. I'll also tell you. Now it is exporting the layer. So I think it is done. Okay, now if you want to check, you can write Docker images. So see, this image is created. Okay, now see, this image is created. This is my image. Now I can execute the image, and for this is the command docker run. I'll copy. So only the change you have to done, instead of st app, you have to give book app. Okay, so now let me execute. So we are running as a detached mode. Okay, detached mode means if you close the terminal also, still your application would be running. Now see, application is running. If you just check it, docker ps, see, container is running. Okay, now if I want to access, I'll go back, copy the public IP address and paste it here and give port number 8501. See, your app is running. Okay, now if I want to show you the recommendation, see, okay, it's working. Got it, guys? Let me know. Clear the deployment part. Now if I close the terminal also, let's say I close this AWS terminal, okay, still your app will run. But I'm not going to close because I want to show you how to push this image to the Docker Hub. So how was the implementation, guys? Let me know. Did you like it? Thank you. I'm not going to share the URL because people will hit the URL and it will charge me. Yeah, you can check it out, but see, if I share then it will charge me. Okay, so I'll share after doing something. Okay, yeah. Okay then. So maybe you can try. So now I'll show you how we can push this let's say image to the Docker Hub. So you know about Docker Hub, guys. Docker Hub. So Docker Hub is a service. So here you can store your Docker image. So first of all, you have to create an account here. Okay, if you don't have an account, just try to sign up with your account. I have already an account. I'll just try to sign in. Continue. So here I already created some image. I already let's say published some image. Now I'm going to publish my new image. Okay. So how to do it? So here I've given the command. So here, first of all, see if you want to stop the container. So what you can do, you can give the stop command. Okay. So how to give the stop command? Otherwise, you can run this one, docker rm. So it will completely stop the container. Let me show you. So now my container is running. If I show you docker ps, sorry, docker ps, it would be docker ps. My container is running. Now if I execute this command, so it will delete the container. Okay, it is telling stop the container before. So if I again run the docker ps, my container is running. First of all, I have to stop the container. So docker stop container id. Docker stop. This is the container id. I'll copy here. I'll paste it. Now it will stop the container. Now if I again run the docker ps, now there is no container. But if I show you docker ps -a, still this container is present. Okay, it is created. But if I want to delete it, I can execute this command docker rm. Okay, now it will delete the container. Now if I again show you docker ps -a, now see there is no container. Okay, so these are some docker command. Now let's say I want to, still my image is present, maybe docker images. Image is present. Now I want to push this image to my Docker hub. How to do it? For this, this is the command. So first of all, you have to do the Docker login. Copy. So this URL you have to open. Then you have to give the activation code. So where you'll get the activation code? So here is the activation code. Confirm. So I have already connected. Now if I show you, see login successful. Now I have to push the image. So I'll copy this command and only I just need to change the name. So book app. Now if I show you, see there is no book app currently in the Docker hub. Okay, but if I push it, this book app image would be there. Now see it is pushing. And what is the main benefit to use the Docker? So you won't be getting any kinds of setup issue. Okay, so now you can pull my image and you can run in your system. Only you just need to have the Docker. Okay, without any kinds of setup issue as a container. That is the main benefit. And in the production, we always use the Docker. Now it's done. Now if I go back to my hub and if I refresh, now see book app is there. Okay, only less than a minute ago. And now if I want to get this particular, let's say container or image, if I show you the public view, this is the command. Okay, first of all, let me delete my image because I already have the same image. So what I will do, I'll just write docker how to delete the image. Okay, docker rmi. Okay, rmi means you want to delete the image. So let me delete my image. First of all, docker images I have to do. I'll get the image id, copy. So docker RMI. I want to delete the image, and this is the image name. Done. Now, if I again just write Docker images, now see there is no image. Now I'll pull my image, the image I published in my Docker Hub. So this is the command copy. Even you can also see, guys. Let me show you. So just open the URL. Can you see my Docker image, guys? Just try to copy and execute in your terminal. So this image would be downloaded in your system. Okay. Now if I again show Docker images, now see this image is present. Now if I want to execute, so this is the command docker run docker run. This was the command. Now it is running again. If I come here, if I refresh, my app is running again. Okay, now if I do the show recommendation, see, okay, it's working. Now let me show you how we can clean up everything. Okay, so let's say first of all, I'll come here, I'll go to the instance and select your instance, guys. Okay, and click on the instance state, then terminate and delete. Stop means you are stopping it. Okay, it will charge for the storage, and terminate means it is delete everything. So Docker images contains everything from code to server config. Yes. Now see, it is shutting down. After some times, you'll see that this image would be deleted. Okay. Yeah. So guys, this was our entire development. I hope you like it, guys. How was the session? Tell me. So I think we have spent around 4 hours and we completed the entire project. How was the session? Thank you. And please try to practice from your end, try to execute from your end. Definitely. Whatever doubt you have, it would be clear. Okay. And you are feel free to reach out to me anytime. This is my LinkedIn profile. If you face any issue, if you want to connect with me, you can connect me here. Okay, so now I think we can conclude the session, guys. Thanks for joining. Yeah. So always remember, consistency is the key. If you are consistent enough, definitely you will be able to get any kinds of success. Okay. What is the next project? I think Sir will be talking about that from the next class onward. He will be taking again. Then if any opportunity come, definitely I will also come in your batch and teach some more project. Okay. How to use the cookie cutter for the template for the folder structure? Yeah, cookie cutter is the same thing. The way I have implemented the project structure, cookie cutter is a library. Okay, this will also do the same thing, but in an easiest way. Okay, you just need to give some, let's say, input, and you can create the folder structure. But internally, they have using the same code. Okay, Santosh. But I always like to create my own template. Okay, instead of using cookie cutter or any other library, because here I have more customization option. Got it? Yeah. So thank you guys for joining the session, and bye everyone. Take care. Thank you, all of you. Bye.